is about to share with you is real. I know it's a lot of, jack-legged people out there in the street, ripping people off, but just my very existence and my other 6 brothers and sisters and my mother being here is a testimony, like a life testimony, that holistic health and natural herbs actually work. So, without any further leeway, Miss Nadine Gilyard.
Thank you. And to have him tell you, my son, he said that I was whispering to him before in the womb.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually knew me before that. I certainly knew him. That's for sure. In that womb. But my name is Nadine Gilyard. I'm what is considered at this time, because I've been into this for 30 years. I've been doing holistic healing and natural medicines for 30 years. I deal with every disease imaginable, everything from the common cold to AIDS, and I've been very successful with all of that. I studied in China, Beijing, at the university there with the ancient doctors. I studied in Escondido, California, with some of the oldest herbalists in the world. Very fortunate for me, okay? So they consider me being an old soul, and I can believe that because from the beginning of my birth, I just want to share with you how I got into this. I was born, the youngest girl of 15 children, and scientifically, when inherited weaknesses are when you're born with inherited weaknesses, they come in 10 to 20 years earlier for each generation, weaker and earlier for each generation. So me being born the youngest girl and my youngest brother, came in conflicted with a lot of inherited weaknesses. So just in short, because I don't want to take a lot of time on that, I came in the world with...
you can just hold that in your hand if you want, or you can just clip it on.
Okay. I came in the world with colon cancer, cancer of the uterus, 3/4 of my kidney eaten away by tuberculosis, a hole in my lung, and a peptic ulcer. And without saying it, I wasn't supposed to be here because of all the trials and tribulations that I went through with doctors and traditional medicine. It didn't work for me, to say the least. Each time that they would find one thing wrong, and they would try to suppress it, because that's the only thing they're ever taught to do, is suppress that symptom, something else would come up, because drugs and chemicals are not designed for the human body. They have nowhere to go in the body, so they're going to cause some other dis-ease in the body. They call it disease, but it's a dis-ease, discomfortive system, meaning that waste has taken over space somewhere in the body where it doesn't belong, causing systems not to be able to do the function that it should. And that's all disease is, okay? You have 102 systems in the body. Your body produces 1 billion cells every hour. You're made up of 12 trillion cells. So you're really just one big cell tissue. And the way you become ill, or dis-ease as I like to say, is toxic material that we inhale, we ingest from just the air we breathe, the foods we eat, the clothes we wear, and all these kinds of things. We're constantly ingesting poison into our cells, and they die off. Well, the science that I learned, the science is called iridology, which was our first medical science that originated out of Africa. Iridology, of course, means the study of. So you have the study of the iris of the eye, which is iridology. Then you have the study of the feet, which is reflexology. And then you have the study of the hands, which is kinesiology. And all that really means is that you have a corresponding organ to every organ and system of the body through your eyes, hands, and feet. Iridology is the most accurate science there is. It's 98% accurate. It'll show you anything that you need to know throughout your entire system. And I can blink in your eyes to do it because I've been doing it for 30 years. Try doing something over and over every day for 30 years, and see how sharp you become with that, you know. So I like to explain it and I like to show it because it seems sort of spooky, so to speak, because we're not used to the simpler things in life. The medical profession has really complicated things. They've made things seem real scary, and it is real scary. A lot of times, put in their hands, it's scary because they don't always have your best interest at heart, and they know that drugs and chemicals are not useful for the body. So they know that something else is actually going to happen. The chart? Something else is going to actually happen when they give you those drugs and chemicals, and that's just a constant connection. They're going to keep you connected to them because of that, okay? So this is how the body is set up through the iris of the eye. Your body is split in half. Half your side, your body, you inherited from your mother. The other half you inherited from your father. Every person comes in the world with at least 12 to 15 weaknesses in the body. You have 102 systems. So you say 12 or 15 weaknesses may not seem like a lot, but it depends upon which systems are weak or how you're going to feel. Okay? You have what are called key systems of the body. Okay, and I'm just going to go over some of them because if those systems are not working, your body can't heal. I don't care what you have. You have to have balance, and everything is a balance. So you have to have balance in the body just as like you have to have balance in your life in order to maintain good life. Okay? So you have starting from this side here is your ascending colon. This is how life began, believe it or not, from the colon. You started out as a bowel. Ascending, your transverse colon that connects you to the other side. You are descending, sigmoid, run on out to the rectal anal area, which is 8 miles to that colon. Then you have 21 feet of small intestine that sits in the center. Now, 8 miles is a lot of colon. That's why when you go to the doctors and you contract cancer, you can cut off so many feet and they say, well, that's okay. You know what I mean? You have a lot more left. But that's not true. You start cutting things away, then you're going to run into blockages. What's going to happen, things are going to start to cut off and not circulate the way that they should, okay? So I know a lot of you probably heard that 95% of your diseases stem from your colon, okay? I like to call it the garbage disposal. That's where everything leaks out and starts to spill into where we have a weak spot in the body. It starts from the colon, large and small intestine, then the waste material in the body filters down through your kidneys, gallbladder, then it ends up in your liver. The blood that pumps out of your liver then goes into your heart, and then the heart sends everything back to your circulatory system, lymphatic and circulatory system. So it's one connection. It's one connection. It's no way out unless you're helping it to work itself out. And that's all I do, is I teach you the process of elimination. I magnify your eyes with the magnifying glass and light, and that shows me what I went to school to study are weaknesses, discolorations, markings, and lesions, something you can't see with a naked eye. But when you magnify it and you learn it, you understand what it is, okay? And it holds true, okay? Now, I went over the colon, but surrounding this colon, the only thing that separates your colon from your other organs, it's what's called the autonomic nerve ring. This is this white ring in the center here. That's your nervous system, one of them, that's attached to the colon. So if 95% of us have some toxic material in our colon, there's also 95% of us that's really stressed out, because you can't have one bad thing without having the other. It's attached, okay? So 95% of us have some form of stress in our bodies. And then we have the outside stress that triggers off what's really going on the inside. People think it's stressful. I'm not in a stressful environment. Yeah, well, you have some undesirables inside that's pressing on those nerves, and it's sending signals out to the rest of the body, causing illness, causing weakness, causing depressions and all types of diseases that you can't imagine, okay? So these are key systems now. These systems must be in good working order in order for you to think in terms of having health, all right? Now, we have the thyroid gland. I'll just stay here. The thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is the gland that controls the fat in the body, all right? You can't burn up too much fat. That's why the people who are hyperactive and always wanting to eat and eat a lot of food, but they're so, their bodies are like, it's like on speed, you know what I mean? It burns up all the calories and the fats in the body, okay? So you can't have a thyroid that's burning up too much fat, or you can't have a thyroid that's not burning up enough fat, okay? It's a key system that must work, all right? And then you have the the lungs. I'll just go with the lungs, the upper respiratory system, all right? You must deep breathe. And 95% of us are not doing that because they don't even know how to breathe. They don't even know how to breathe from their mouths, the way you're supposed to breathe, and let it out. You understand? So 95% of us are walking around getting a lack of oxygen to our brains, okay? Because 50% of our brain needs oxygen. It is water. So you need a high concentration of oxygen going to the brain. And the brain is, of course, what tells the body what to do. So if your brain is out of balance, your whole body's out of balance. You know, it's the king. You know what I mean? It's the king of this distribution, of showing us what we need, walk, talk, think. All the things that we do is coming from that brain. So you must have a good working brain, and lack of oxygen, exercise, and all that, it plays that role, all right? So we must have deep breathing, good lungs. Then we have the kidneys. These are all the ways that waste has to leave the body. And these are the systems that were designed to get rid of that waste for us naturally, okay? And when these systems, again, are not working, your body's holding on to more waste than it should, and the waste that the body is supposed to throw off naturally every day, which is scientifically 2.5 pounds. Scientifically, we're supposed to throw off 2.5 pounds of waste material out of our skin every single day, just by sweating. But most of us don't do enough form of exercise. We don't drink enough water, you know, to form that sweat to throw it off. And that's why we're diseased. Because again, we're holding on to toxins that we shouldn't have, that the body should be throwing off on its own, all right? Then we have this system here. And I always can't wait to get here because no one ever talks about that, okay? The spleen. The spleen is 3/4 of your immune system. 3/4 of your immune system, and nobody wants to talk about it. Doctors even, they haven't even figured out what the purpose is yet, much less talk about it. They don't even know what it is. I remember, I think Williams, my nephew, he's got to be 45 years old right now. And I remember even being a little girl, but a very sick little girl, I remember when they took his spleen out. He was 9 years old, and he didn't grow, and he would always wind up with fever blisters all the time, which is nothing but a viral. It's a low immune deficiency, okay, that's in the body, which comes from the spleen typically. And they knew it had something to do with it, but they couldn't connect it. So what did? They took it out. So now he has no immune system. So he had to actually leave New Jersey because he was dying. He couldn't breathe. He was getting sick. He was catching everything that you could catch. So he had to go move into the country. So at least he wasn't, you know, at least he's not in such an environment where he's just catching everything. They took that at 9. He's 40 years old. He's still living because, you know, the things that he's learned throughout the years. I've helped the family. You know, I've taken good care of my family. I thank God for that. You know, that I've been able to deal with every disease imaginable. So whatever you have, it doesn't matter. Take care of my children, and I've taken care of my grandchildren. Okay, there's and believe me, I've been tried and tested. I mean, I was never supposed to have children. I have 7 children. Insides were totally restored. I have 14 grandchildren and 1 to come. to still live here, to still be dealing that same thing. I birthed my own. I still birth my own children, my grandchildren. No one touches them. My children have never been in the hospital in their life because society won't allow you to do certain things. At this point, I'll go in, and we're going right out. Once that baby's born, we clean them up and take them home. I never stayed in the hospital more than a day. Doctor got so used to me, I know, you're going home. Yeah, that's right, job's done. I ain't no need of me being here in this filth, and this disease, and this place to die, because hospital in Latin means a place to die. If I'm sick, I don't want to go to a place to die.
Ma, can you say that one more time?
In Latin, hospital means a place to die.
Make sure they got it in TV world. Say it one time. So they get it in TV world in case you did it real fast.
It's very serious. I don't want to go to a place to die, especially if I'm sick. Okay, because that's where all the diseases are, and that if you didn't have something, you won't leave with something. You hang around there long enough. That's why I always got in, took and wrapped my babies up, and got on out of there. Last time I had my last one, I had her in the car. I sat in the car and had it just wrapped up in my towel, my own towel. I bought from home. Sat there, pulled his leg up. By then, I was a pro. 7 times, put the leg up. My husband thought I was out of my mind. I said, bump. Wrapped up. I said, now you can call him and tell him again. He said, you are crazy. He was losing his mind. I was sitting there, but I've done it. Who could do it better than me? Nobody. Who could tell me better than me what was coming, what was done, and how it was done? 7 times? Please. You know what I mean? So I had her wrapped up, and then I called my glue baby because it is a fact. When you have those babies and you have them close like that, they stick to you like glue. That's right. Each one of my grandchildren I birthed, you can't pull them off of me. Right. You think I birthed them. I had my youngest grandson in the post office the other day. The men in there, they thought that was my baby because how he was responding so well and he spoke so well. Tiny little guy too. You know what I mean? He spoke so well. Excuse me. He's getting bored because the line was long. So you see, he bumped himself and he's in full coat and cushion. I let him move around and exercise, you know what I mean? So he needs to work himself out a little bit. As long as he rolled down on the floor. He said, it's all right, I'm okay. You know what I mean? Before anybody could ever even say anything, don't even get excited. It's all right, I'm okay. And coming out of this little mouth. They were amazed just watching him. You know, because of the things that they're taught. I take this job very seriously. This mother job, this grandmother job, I am so proud to be in this place where, I have so many children, grandchildren. I'm talking about extended family. You come in my neighborhood and you're going to hear ma, 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 everywhere you go. Little dog, how many children do you have? I lost count a long time ago. Now, because I've lived long enough to be in my 2nd generation, it's ma and grandma. What total respect from these beings, and what better feeling in the world can you have than that? When these children, and they come up and you see all the remarkable changes, and especially the ones that were ill. I mean, I've been dealing with AIDS patients since 1986. All of my AIDS patients are alive, well, and symptom-free. And it's been that way. I had a 3.5-year-old from 1986, full-blown AIDS. He had already had the shingles 3 times. Shingles is that real bad skin disease that forms from the immunity, the lack of. And he was itching, and he had real serious problems, this little guy. But he was so smart. Children are so smart. When he came to me, they had already given him his death wish. They told him he wouldn't live more than 2 weeks. And his mother, they had gave her tickets to go to Disney World as his death wish. Okay? And they said he wouldn't live more than past the 2 weeks. I said, well, bring him on over here. Let's see what we can do. He couldn't talk because of the AZT that they were giving him, were burning up his vocal cords on the inside. Let me tell you a little about AZT. AZT was the next form of the chemotherapy that they designed for chemotherapy. And what happened was, once they found out that it was so hot that you couldn't even touch it with your hand, they put it on the side. They threw it sort of supposedly in the garbage, but in the garbage that was never thrown out, because they were going to use it sometime later. You know what I'm saying? Even if they had to cool it off a little bit. But however, they were going to keep. So they kept this, and they. So when this so-called, I like to say so-called AIDS, because I can break it down point by point. I'm not going to take time like that today to do that to you, but I'm telling you, I can break it down point by point to show you where it came from, how it came, why it came, and what it is exactly on a scientific note. Nothing else. Because all I speak about, what I'm speaking to you today about is science. It's a scientific proven fact. And you can go back and research it and you can find it. You understand? And this is from the ancient. This is from the beginning of time. The only thing I can deal with is from the beginning of time. Because this is all the thing that ever saved my life. You know what I mean? If it worked then, it still work. How is something going to change? I've studied under Dick Gregory for a while. And that's how I learned about AIDS. And what it was and how it came and so forth. You know, he puts the information out and then I do the work. This is my job. I do the work. So I'm fully connected with all these top herbalists in the world and all these people who are on the righteous path of health. You understand? And a lot of other good things. Okay? We're fully connected. We stay close. And Dick Gregory was, I like the way he explained one little thing when he was talking about AIDS. He said, how are you going to come up with a new disease when you're not doing anything new?
Wow.
You're not doing anything. You're eating, you're sleeping, you're drinking your coffee, tea, whatever, your vodka. You know, all the same stuff. How are you going to come up with something new when you're not doing anything new? There is no new disease.
And what Dr. Africa say, your body only produces a certain amount of things where all these diseases come
from. At the same time, that's the same things. Mucus, undigested food that rots. Everything is just a stage of weakness. Acute, subacute, chronic, degenerate. Okay, when it becomes a degenerate state of condition, then that's something that's really old, that's been in there for a long time, and it's really poison, and it's starting to get into more than just that one system or so. It's really spilling into a lot of things. And that's when they call cancer. You know, they scare you with that one. Ooh. I had colon cancer, cancer of the uterus, 3/4 of my kidney. And I always got some, that try to come up. Because you always got to, everyone has some. Believe it or not. It's in there, and what you need to do is stay on top of it so it doesn't take the control of you. You have to get rid of that. You have to keep your body clean. You need to go through different periods of just a natural cleansing. Nothing big, just clean the bowel out real good with some natural cleansing. Clean your blood, with good blood purifier. Stay on these key systems. Know yourself, though. You got to know individually where your weaknesses lie. And this is where the iridology comes in, okay? Because your weaknesses are different. Everyone has some different ones. I have the kidneys, the lungs, heart, so forth, and yours might be different. So you might not need the same cleansing as I need. But generally, people, just on a general note, if you take in on the key systems that I'm talking about, then you can help your body to maintain a better health. Okay? Now I need to talk about this system here. That's the lymphatic and circulatory system. That's the system that's right up underneath the skin. Okay? That's all of your veins and arteries and capillaries from head to toe. Must be in good working order. Okay? Try not letting blood flow get to an organ. What's going to happen to it? It's going to die off because of it. So you have to have maximum circulation. 95% of us, again, this has some form of poor circulation. So you need to know what they are. This is what this is about. This is what the iridology is. It's going to tell me exactly where your weaknesses are and what you need to work on. So when you go to the health food store or you order some herbs and things, you know exactly what your personal system is calling for. Not just taking things because somebody said so, or the thing that's on the shelf and the brother in the store said, and all of that. If you don't know yourself, then you're working blind. And it might not be the best thing for you. Even with the doctors, they're only practicing physicians.
Practicing, being the key word, that's right.
Practicing physicians, and they're practicing on everyone that gives them an opportunity to do it. And they'll practice until you die. And then they'll say, oh, well, I tried. You know what I'm saying? And they get away with it. And you pay them to kill you.
Check.
Pay them. Big bucks. Because you got to pay health insurance. I don't care if you're going to pay it. Now they got so many co-pays. It's almost as much as it used to cost if you had to pay out. Right. All of those games that they're playing as far as the money and the insurance and all that stuff. And try not having any. And see what you get. Try going there when you don't have any insurance. Oh, then you're really at a loss. And I'm not even saying that you might, under emergency kind of situations, if you don't know anything else to do, if your blood pressure has shot up, or your diabetes is that you're going into coma-like type states and conditions, that you don't need to go to the doctors to maybe get an injection or whatever, if you don't know what else to do. Then to stabilize you. I'm not saying that. But that's not a way of life. That's not something to prolong. That's only a temporary relief. They make you believe that herbs were designed for the temporary relief and it takes a long time to do it. When your body is made up of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. We're made from the earth. So the only thing that's going to actually ever heal our body is exactly what we're made up of. You can't go in and put an artificial medication inside the body and expect to get well with it. The body will reject it. There's nowhere to go in the body. It's going to destroy something. It doesn't belong. So you have to get that. You have to get that. You have to stay as close to nature as you possibly can, and you won't go wrong. And I'm not saying there's not a lot of people on the bandwagon out here trying to make a buck off of the same types of information that I'm sharing. You know, they have watered down products. That's why you have to be really careful. A lot of them are filled with cereal grain. And that's why if you take them, you say, oh, that stuff didn't work. Giving us a bad name. The people that are sincere. You know what I mean? But I don't worry about that too much because I've been in this for 30 years, so I'm doing something right. And I've been in, and I work out of at least 48 states right now. I've been in all the states. I have students in every state. Okay? I handpicked though, because everyone can't work for me. That's my son. Everyone can't work for me.
I can't even work for it.
Right. Everyone can't work for me because you have to have a certain type of spirit to be in where I'm in. Statistically and society, everyone told me all of my life, ever since I've been into this, they said, you're never going to make any money off that. You can't do that. You're not a business person. You don't know what you're doing. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I got my own health. That was priceless. You understand? I learned how to maintain my own life and self. I've been able to take care of every disease imaginable. Curtis was born, my son. They said that when he was born that he was going to be mentally retarded and brain damaged. He was 2.5 pounds at birth. He went down to 1.5 pounds. I used to hold him in my hand like this. Right? This big head.
How many months premature?
3 months. He was a 6 month, just barely. Okay? So I'm holding her in my hand. But guess what? Physically, besides him being that small, physically he was fine because I could take him out the incubator. That's how I used to hold him in my hand. But then I started putting that word on him. You know what I'm saying? I started putting the energy in him.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I said, boy, you're going to grow to be a football football player. In fact, I'm going to buy you a football right now. And I did.
That's right.
Put it in the incubator.
That's right.
Went and bought him football jerseys, the dog size. Put it on him, big letter. He was just a big letter in the front and back. That's all. Put it on him. I said, you gonna be the big, I said, you mark my words, brother. I'm telling you, this little boy, in my hand, the palm of my hand. That's as big as he fit. Then you know what they did? You know what they did to my son? I go there and I'm there every day. I go home, get my change up and come back, and I'm looking for my child. And I know where his bed is, but I'm looking for him and I'm saying, where's my son? And they're looking at me like I'm crazy. I said, no, seriously, because I'm about to lose it now. Where's my child? I just left him. The next day I come back. Here's a baby in this incubator, the size of a 3-month child. That's him. Overnight. They took and they blew him up with an experimental drug and blew him up overnight. They cut the wristband on his hands. He still has the scars to prove it. On his arms, they cut in his leg. They cut right into him so deep that the scars still remain to this day. His head was blown up this big. The water that filled up in this boy's head, and you know in the top there, well, that was just so full of water. I mean, it all juggled. Okay? I lost it. I completely lost it. I lost it, whereas the nurse, one of the nurses that really that took care of him, she was on duty, she said, she called me to the side so I could calm down. She said to me, she said, I can lose my job for this, but I'm going to tell you what they did. They experimented on your son, and they gave him a drug similar to embalming fluid, and that's what's in him. They tried to make him a big baby overnight, and they experimented. So what happened the next day? The next day, after they're trying to detox him and trying to get all this fluid that had blew him up, they said to me, he has a blood clot on his brain, and he's going to be mentally retarded and brain damaged. And I said, all right, it's time for him to go home. Gotta go. Gotta go.
Tell them that they tried to buy me too. Tell them this is.
I forgot. I did skip just a little while back. You know what they tried to tell me first? They said to him, well, you have 5 other children. Let's just get rid of them. Just kill them. Right hand.
We give you some money for him, that's what they said.
Because they wanted to use him for research. And so I said, well, it's time, he has to go home now. They said, well, he's too smart. I said, well, that's all right. He has to go home now. Because what you're saying to me, you can't do anything with him. Let me take him home. I'm going to take him home. I didn't ask anything. I always, when it was in the part of demanding, it was done. You know, when I left the hospital, it was done. I left. I had to have 2 people hold me up on each side to leave, but I left. I took him home, wrapped him up. They said, well, he'll need to have that blood clot checked out, and we have to wait until he's older because he's so small that we'd have to go into the back of his head, right, and bleed it like that, and do surgery. So, but we have to wait till he's bigger in order to do it. I said, what? So I take him down to the supposed to be the largest research hospital in the world. That's in New Jersey. I took him down there, and you know what they did? First of all, they gave him a drug to put him to sleep, to put him through the MRI, and they couldn't wake him up. He stayed asleep for a week. He stayed asleep for 1 week. They overdosed my son. He was alive, but he was overdosed. Oh, we gave him too much medication. That was it there. That was enough. to make that long story short, what happened was I took him home and I started nurturing him on herbs. I put it in the baby cereal, you know, natural herbs. And the main herb that I take every day and I love, because and some of you guys might want to try that too, because that gotu-kola is fabulous. It gives oxygen to the blood, to the brain. I was giving it to him. Start feeding him with it. By the time they went through and got that MRI, that morning before we left, had a fierce nosebleed. You know I was praying on it. I was praying like nobody's been. I'm talking about serious prayer. You know what I mean? I'm talking to God. I'm telling you, I'm talking to Him like I'm talking to you right now. To tell them that I know that these people might not be the best people to have in their hands, and I really need you to step in to do what needs to be done. And I just listen. I stay quiet, and I stay in prayer, and I listen, and I got the information of what to do. And I gave him that gotu-kola, and I knew that morning what that sign was when the fierce nosebleed. He has never had nosebleed again in his life since then, to make sure to know that that was it. So when we went to the hospital, they took the MRI, and they no longer found the blood clot, they said, well, it's a miracle. I said, well, would you think it had anything to do with that nosebleed he had this yesterday morning? Nah, that ain't had nothing to do with it. I said, okay. So I'm really learning and understanding what they're doing, what this is. This. I know what's going on. I'm there with them. I know exactly what happened. I know exactly what I did. But I wanted to see their response and what they said. What would you say? Well, he wound up being an over average child. When I brought him to school, I told him, I said that the doctor said that he's going to have to work slower. They said, you're lying. I worked with that boy. I was pulling my hair out sometimes. I'm telling you. I mean, literally pulling my hair out because I had to teach him. And what happened with him was he would do an action before the thought pattern would catch up. So he had a disconnection, but I was there studying. I'm paying attention. That's what it is. It's a disconnection. So when I got that gotu-kola and I put that in there, I could put it together. And nothing works overnight. Nothing works overnight. You have to work. You got to be consistent. And the consistency of it, by the time he got to school, they didn't even know he had any difficulties at all. And this is in the kindergarten. And, you know, they're in the kindergarten. They told me I was lying. And then he wound up being in the gifted and talented. All of my children. They all put him in gifted and talented. They told my one son, the musician that he's talking about, when he went to school, but I already knew that. I knew that he was born that way. I had 3.5 years old. God set the first black concert pianist in the state of New Jersey and put him on my son. And he's still doing that same music right now. You know what I mean? And a way of things have a way of coming back around. That same fidelity to that same story that I tell about him. Here he is. He was playing for a church, and he's in there, and the minister gave out a flyer. Wound up giving one to the teacher. Then my son is now almost 30 years old. He was 3.5. Then when he taught him, he told me never put a learned person on him. It always has to be taught by a gifted person like himself. So very fortunate. And here that teacher came in and saw his student there, and he was so thrilled about, you know, when he comes back around to see that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It was a wonderful thing. However, this young man right here, after all, just his trial and tribulation of all he went through, I mean, he came out being a master, and I knew who he was because he had that fight. That's why he kicked out at 6 months. He wanted to get out. He busted the water, just everything, just get out. And he got out. But all of that showed me the sign of the strength of who he was, what type of individual. That's why I had to teach him different. I have 4 sons. I had to teach them differently, and even early discipline them differently than the average child, because he wasn't an average child, and he was extraordinary. You know what I mean? And then as he was growing and developing, I watched this extraordinary. When he flipped that 360 degrees, boy, did we see something then? That was a whole nother side of the individual that had gone through all of that. But if I had, which I did, gone through, because I went to the same likeness. See, when you're dealing with the children and when they're born with that and you're sticking them with all kinds of needles and things like that, when they're born, that messes with the nervous system to begin with. So they're angry and upset and strained to begin with. That's why I wound up with a peptic ulcer. They found it at the age of 12, but I had it from birth because I was sick from my mother's womb. So I had always been in the hospital, always under some type of stress, medication aggravation. Put a hole in my stomach. You see what I mean? And it had to get so bad for them to find out what it was. First of all, they weren't looking for an adult disease in a child, so it had to manifest into this major problem before they ever knew what was going on. And then when you have disease in the body, especially when you're dealing from the colon, like all of the garbage disposal, leaks out, small and large intestine, kidneys. Well, that's our inherited weakness. Went straight down to the kidneys, 3/4 corroded. Mine. My youngest brother didn't form a kidney at all, just a rotted tissue. And they scraped that out. Because he was 2.5, he went down to the size of a 9-month baby. But fortunately for me, the man who helped us, the doctors who helped me, was the man who I still mimic. That's why I have my little black bag, brown bag, black bag. I have them. And I even go to the house. I'll still go to the house, service everybody in the house. They used to do it for $5. Service everybody in the house, you know, check everybody's eyes out with their little light and their little glass and everything. And that's what I do. Go on that. That's the same thing. That was the original. That's the original science.
Yes.
You can't say it originated out of Africa. They stole it in the 1700s. Here in Europe, been using it ever since.
They don't give you that.
See what I'm saying?
Business when
But it costs, but oh yeah, oh no, they don't want me to know about this. I'm not supposed to know about that. But I could deal with all of these diseases and I'll make them, put them to shame. I did an analysis on, and at the same university hospital there in Newark, I did the analysis on the director and the assistant director of the adult AIDS department. Because when people started asking me, oh, how come you know about AIDS and the doctors don't know about it? I said, that's a good question. So when they invited me down, because all the workers got well right in front of their faces with the diseases. See, y'all don't put the light stuff on me, you put all the heavies, you know what I mean? Because you know I'm going to take my time and I'm going to deal with it. So all the diseases that they say there's no cure for, the lupuses, the multiple sclerosis, all the different types of cancer, otherwise, you know what I mean, AIDS, all of that stuff, that really takes a lot of work. So I wanted to ask them that question that everyone was asking me, eyeball to eyeball. You know, since I know about this, and I brought the scientific living proof about what I was talking about. I had a videotape when I finished doing an analysis on them, and had them with the left mouth hanging open. I said to now that you have this information, what do you want to do about it? He know what to say. He was telling, he said, yeah, and this was in 1996. Now I had already, my AIDS patients were already for 10 years. Okay, so not only did I have the scientific proof of what I was speaking of, I also had all these end results of what I had already done. So he said, wow, since this, he's stuttering, information is 10 years old, I wonder if they did an update. I said, an update? What are you talking about, update? All this is telling you that you're at least 10 years behind time. And this is supposed to be the largest research hospital. What kind of stuff is that? And here me, little grandma, grandma, who don't, you know, claim to be anyone special, because like I said earlier, everyone has a degree that they need to be putting out there. It's just that I tapped in on mine early for my own life's sake. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't be here to tell you about this right now. Because when the end result of me was, when I walked out of the hospital and left them standing there, and they were trying to con my husband into signing over because they wanted to do exploratory surgery because the cancer had ran rampant. It was all over the place, and you never this, that, and the other, and try to con him into letting him stay home with me if he signed a paper for me to do exploratory surgery on me. I told him to get out. I told I called the two sisters. I was in a Muslim community at that time, teaching at that time, and two young ladies from the mosque. I called them up. I said, "Sister, come and get me." You know what I mean? Come and get me. I'm about 80 or more pounds, but I couldn't. I was so weakened, that I had to have each of them hold me up on each side to leave. They said, "Oh, you leaving? You're not gonna make it until tonight. You're gonna bleed to death." And this is the doctor, and this is was his attitude. His pointing finger. He's telling me, "You're not gonna make it until tonight. You're gonna bleed to death and die." I said, "Okay, and who made you God?" That was my answer to him, and got out of there. Went down to an old herbalist who couldn't even write his own name. He couldn't even write his name. He made an X all his life, but I knew who to go to because I already prayed on this. Went down there. He was waiting for me. He gave me 3 dishes to use to stop this bleeding. It took 3 days for him to stop it. This bleeding that I had walked around in child pampers with for 2.5 years. The bleeding that was out of control. I went down, he gave me 3 dishes, ladies. Stopped it. Been in control of that ever since. Been taking care of all these beautiful children, grandchildren, some of my own. Like I said, all these difficulties. I had a recent child born with, my youngest grandson is born with congestive heart. And born with that same kidney like me, that was size of a pea, but it was so small. That's what happened. I started working on him. He's not even 2 years old yet, but he's already in top-notch condition. He doesn't have to go to any more specialists because they didn't have anything for him anyway. Thank God, because they said that he's too young, too small for any type of surgery, too young, too small for any type of medication. It's too much. So I said, "That's all right, I'll take care of it." Took care of it and got that. I saw it in iridology. Saw exactly what I was dealing with. Sat out on the floor and played with him. That's all I do. I sit around there, took the eyes, lit his eyes up. He thought he was playing a little game. You know what I mean? And brought it right to me. And I was able to see exactly what I needed to see. So he's been on herbs ever since he was born. Right now, brute man. I got the pictures. He's a brute man now. He's 3 pounds. Another one. I had already been there. already. You understand what I'm saying? And that was years and years ago. We're talking about this present time now, so that was like a Band-Aid for me. And he takes them herbs, and they all of my grandchildren, they're all on herbs. They know what they are. They know what they do. And they know grandma's not going to tell them a lie. You understand? Because they'll come back. I have had them test things and come back and say, before I could get back to see me the next time, they'll say, "Not hello, Grandma. Grandma, you were right." That was the first thing, because they're going to test you. What you tell them, they're going to go and try that. And if you mess up, they're going to come back and tell you that too. Well, it didn't happen that way. Well, it does. So that's what they, you teach them young. You teach them and you work with them. You work with the children young. And what you do is, that's the only way you can get rid of an inherited weakness. You work with the child from a baby, because those cells that your body produces every hour, they become renewed. And the more cells, the new cells that you produce, it gets stronger and stronger. So next time it passes on, when they have children, that inherited weakness stops. but you have to do it in the child. That's why it's so important to me. Children, I've been blessed to be able to service children free, 12 and under, ever since I started this business. Now I'm blessed in my second breath. My second breath right now, this statistic woman who had these 7 children single-handed, who was not supposed to be able to know how to run a business, who was not supposed to be able to do any of these things statistically. You know how society put us down like that. I'm going to show you something. This little black mother, grandmother, is my name in the book of my company, right here. Let me show you what little black grandma did. Nadine Gilyard. And I put my oldest daughter's name on my company because in case anything happens to me, it goes to her because I worked hard for this. I worked and never lifted my head up. I have a new $1 million club member. I have a $1 million business, just my little line. Going to $1 million. Without me even knowing that, going there. The person who didn't have any business sense, but I got God sense. Do you understand that?
Say that again, Grandma.
I have God sense. You understand? And my favorite saying in the house, and my son will attest to that, when I told him God made me your mother, and I took my job very seriously, and he knew whose hands to put you in, I was very serious about that. Also, I was very serious about that I took this job very seriously, but I also, with my work, because I've been blessed to be able to overcome all of these afflictions. I'm right on top of it. Anything, if the air circulating this way of the north that comes by my ear, I know what's going inside. I know what's happening to me. I know my body that well to know and do exactly what needs to be done. So I'm in good shape. I'm okay. I don't need nobody to tell me nothing. Like my daddy, he's still there talking that same stuff. He said, I've made it all these years. Why somebody have to tell me something now? You know what I mean? So, all of this to say, these children, grandchildren, well, I guess God knew I needed some millions now because I have this family that I must take care of. You know what I mean? And being responsible and being knowing what I have to do to take care of them, I need a little money in my hand. You know what I'm saying? So now the wealth, where everybody, remember what I said earlier about this is supposed to be what? A recession? This is supposed to be a recession. Little black grandmother just made $1 million in this recession of my own business that I took one day at a time, that I started when I didn't have a notebook, a book, nothing. I had them babies rocking on my lap. But that baby that was rocking on my lap, I took a book and I read. And I used to have babies because I didn't trust babysitters. I had to take care of my own. They were mine. I took care of my own. I used to go to college and I used to go and bring them in and sit down. And they used to sit down because they were so well mannered that nobody ever said anything. So they used to sit on the step. I used to sit in the chair. And what I got, they got. The knowledge and information. And I mean, I went to every kind of school imaginable. Every kind of school of thought. Buddhism, science of religion. First and foremost, Islam, I studied. First of all, not learning about me. You understand? Because that teaches a woman about herself. And how to be that woman, the one that you suppose that God designed woman. If you do it the real way. If you're talking about being a for real woman, that's how I can maintain what I've maintained all of my life. You understand? That's who I went to when they said that you're going to bleed to death and die. I went on my knees. I learned how to prostrate and pray that day. Allah, I don't believe that you brought me here just to let me go like that. You know what I'm saying? These people are telling me that I'm never going to have children. I don't believe that I'm a baby lover. I was a baby lover ever since I was a baby. I was holding somebody's baby and I was a baby. So how could that be? My mother had 15 children. That just didn't add up. How was I never going to have children and my mother had 15 of them? So that wasn't adding up to me to begin with. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't believe none of that. And so what I did, I went into prayer and he showed me. That's who directed me, how I was directed to, I'm going to sum it up. Okay, yes. They directed me, I was directed, I went to the old herbalist, he helped me from there. He even pointed me in the direction of a medical doctor who met me, and then he left the medical profession. Brilliant guy. I knew he was brilliant. I was 12, and I knew he was brilliant because I had been in doctors and hospitals all of my life. People thought later on in my life that I was some kind of doctor of medicine or something, because I knew too much about the medical side, and that was because all the things they did to me. I could name it, know what it did, how it did, and why it did. And I was paying attention. And then when at the age of 12, that's why the number 12 for me is so significant. By the time I was 12 years old, I knew doctors wasn't what they were all cracked up to be, because I was messed up. The hair I went to them, now I'm really a wreck. Everything is all messed up. And so and then I had to leave this is pediatricians. Now I have to go to an adult doctor because I'm leaving the age of 12. Now I got to start this same thing all over again. I refused to go. I threw away all the medicine. I wouldn't take it because they were drugging me. I used to be an athlete. I loved the sports, and I used to run. My daughters, they all like that. You understand? When I took the medication, I found that I couldn't run. Threw it in the garbage. Couldn't do it. Ain't nobody to stop me from running. You understand what I'm saying? Because those are the times that I felt the best. And you know that exercise and all of that goes along with, which I didn't know that. You understand what I'm saying? But it was just me being a child and things that were just common sense. The old doctor that saved my brothers in my life from the beginning, that was Dr. Kaplan, who came to the house with a little black bag that serviced everybody in the house. Well, he's the one that found out, looking at my brother's eyes, hands, and his feet. That's all. And that's what told him exactly what was wrong with my brother in an instant. Like I do, at a blink of an eye. I can blink in your eyes and tell you what your mama had, your daddy had, how much you have, where it's coming from, and why it's coming. In a blink of an eye. So you know there's something wrong in this society where they actually believe in all these machines, and the machine, you know how faulty they are? And then these machines that they have you believe you can look at your whole body and all of that stuff. They can't look at your whole body. They're just designed for parts, certain little parts. And if you don't have a proper technician, you're not even going to get the result anyway, if there was a result there. You understand what I'm saying? Because most of these people are not even technically efficient. That's right. To run them. These man-made things they come up with, costing you billions of dollars. You know what I mean? And thinking it's funny. That it's okay. Because they're researching. They're practicing physician. Well, we got to practice on someone. When I told him about the little boy that the first little boy with AIDS, I said to him, when they told me that he was going to die, I said, well, how do you know he's going to die? Oh, because you're giving him that AZT. That's how you know he's going to die. You're burning them up on the inside. And when I got finished with him, his mother said, is he ever going to talk? He smells like a burnt rubber tire. But that was a burnt rubber tire. He was burning up on the inside. Skin was turning black as coal. And he couldn't talk because, remember, the AZT had to go past his throat. So it burned up his vocal cords. I took a simple liquid herb that we take, which is chlorophyll, cell builder, that had to go right past his throat. You know what I mean? To heal the cells. That sealed the cells in his throat.
Is the chlorophyll the thing that you said you take every day still that you gave him?
Oh, the Gardacola. Well, the Gardacola was one of the specific brain foods. Goes directly to the brain. It works on the memory. It even works on Gardacola.
Gardacola.
Spiritual, your spiritual, mental. I mean, it's a very, very, very powerful herb.
It's a wild herb?
Learning herb, yes. Learning, but it's all about the brain. Okay, it nurtures the brain like it's supposed to, getting the oxygen and all that. But you must have maximum circulation as well, because you have to get the oxygen. And then see, the liquid chlorophyll that I'm speaking of is a cell builder, but it sends oxygen to the body. It's like the green, it comes from the green plant. It's a green life food. So anything, you know, that's green life and whole like that, it's your life-sustaining food. It's your breath of life, okay? Because liquid chlorophyll, you can sustain life off of. You drink that every day, you won't die. You know what I mean? You're a little thin, but you won't die. You can sustain life because it makes new cells. It makes the best cells your body can produce. Also, it's the highest form of calcium, good for your teeth and bones. That's how I got here. The tooth started aching, and I threw some chlorophyll. Pain's gone. Now I'm here. You understand? Just set it over here on the side, just a few times. You know, it almost for anything. Fatigue. Take a tablespoon and see. Pick you right up.
Let me ask you something. What is the root catalyst of lupus?
Lupus is a natural, what it is a degenerate nerve disease.
Okay.
Lupus. See what I said earlier? Acute, subacute, chronic. Every disease that they call the name of, and it's a nerve, that's a nerve condition. But what it is, it's a degenerate, the nerves have completely taken over and settled into maybe all the organs that you have, or a lot of them, your muscles, the bones, and things like that. And when it's taken over like that, there's no more function. You understand? How are you going to stand up? How are you going to? I know, because I had to reverse that so many times it's not even funny. You understand? I had a girl who had lupus. She was legally blind. Now when I got finished with her, they took a child away from her. Hurt me to my heart. Young woman. That they had to take her child because she couldn't see anymore. Well, I happened to be around the corner from where she was. She just happened to pop in my office one day. Free. Free of charge. Because a lot of things I do whatever I want to do. You understand? If I want to give away something free, I can give it away free. If I want to serve it, whatever I want to do. Because God is my provider. Take care of all of my needs, all of my wants. Okay? And I'm just careful about what I ask for, because everything you ask for, you don't really need. And it could really wind up being your enemy afterwards, because what we think we want, and we think we all need, you don't need everything you think you need. You know what I mean? So be careful what you ask for, that's all I can say. Because if you're asking for it and you mean it with all your heart, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. I promised God. I said, God, and I meant this with all my heart. I said, if I get all fixed up here on the inside, I'd have 10 children. Nobody don't even understand that. They can't even get that. You understand? When I had the 7 children, I was popping around. I was gone, boy. Took me 5 years for the first one, 4.5 years for the next one, then 3.5 years, 2.5 years, and the last two, they were like very close. That was 13 months apart. I said, wow. So each time it got better and better. Not that I get weaker, I got stronger. So you know what my job was? My job was to have them babies. I got rid of all my problems after I was popping them babies out like I was supposed to. I didn't have no more problems. I ain't had a yeast infection in 50 years. You understand what I'm saying? Because I don't do none of that stuff. I take good care of myself on the inside. That's all you have to do. You know, keep yourself fresh and healthy. You know, like I said, you take care of the cleansing part. I can still have babies right now. And I promised God, I said, now, if you need some Jesus or Moses or somebody to come in, you understand what I'm saying? I'm always being ready. Ain't nobody taking nothing from me from the inside. I'm a willing servant because I know, you understand? And I'm serious about that. I am very serious about that. Nobody take nothing from me. I've never had any form of chemotherapy. I've never had any form of operation. Don't even come near me. Don't even look at me crooked. You understand what I'm saying? Don't touch me. Because you're not the wisest people. You understand? We don't see eye to eye. We're not equally yoked. We don't have that. You understand? That kind of understanding that you can get that close. You know, they want to do exploitation. So look at who? Not me. I'm out.
That's right.
You know what I mean? They proved themselves. They proved themselves to me that they didn't know what they were talking about and they didn't know what they were doing. And I wouldn't allow them.
How do if a person want to get a consultation, how would they go about getting a consultation?
Well, I'm here to consultate.
No, I mean, these tapes are going to go international. We want the brothers and sisters who need the help to be able to find you.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, you got the card? The card is in the bag. I have a card. I have a card and I have... Did you get that?
Email, phone number.
Email. My phone number?
Yeah.
In Gilyard at Yahoo.
I know that. I remember that. See, I'm not so technical, but I'm technical.
And your phone number.
Okay. My email address is ngilyard@yahoo.com, and
How do we
my
spell
phone-
Gilyard?
Gilyard.
Gilyard.
Yes, like I said.
Gilyard@yahoo.com.
Yahoo.com. Okay. And then we have my phone number.
Is this a business phone?
This is an international phone.
Good. You're gonna get a large volume of calls.
International. And guess what, brothers and sisters? I already got a peek at it. See, I need to share this. My phone, let me give my phone number first. Phone number is 201-259-1844. But I got to peek in on this, you know, because me being that God-like and that spiritual thing, you know, God shows me everything that I need to know at the time that I need to know it. Because I don't have time for mistakes. I'm on a mission. So when you're in that way, you get shown what's coming up, what's up. I ain't had to worry about what's up. I already know. I'm way ahead of mine. I'm just waiting to walk in finish walking the steps. You understand? So I do know that very shortly, because of all of this impact, or all of this, the sharing, and why I'm here today, is because of that. I will be working this side. In fact, so big that there's going to be, I'm going to have to probably move here and back, half in New Jersey. And I've done it before. I've lived half in Bermuda, half in New Jersey. It's not the first time. So wherever I need to be, it's already set up. And I've already seen it. You understand? So it's not, I'm not going to get lost. You're going to see me, and a lot of me, and I'm going to take care of a lot of yous, because in the United States had me for a long time. Everybody knows me. Everybody knows me. My grandson, boy, grandma, everybody knows you. You know what I mean? Every nationality, culture on the planet. I service everybody. High rollers, low rollers, AIDS, whatever. They're all the same. Human beings. You know, and if they out there trying to figure it out, need a helping hand, I'm there for it. And I don't worry about the almighty dollar. It got set up somehow here. It's here. That $1 million thing. So I can feed some people. So I can take care of some business. So I especially take care of the family, take care of the grandchildren. I got all them grandchildren. And I know they superb. They got them put in my hands. I know they superb. They got some real good things going on for them. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to doing whatever it takes to do that with them. And I got these strong, powerful sons. 4 of them. All in a row. I said, wow. So I had one daughter that had 4 sons in a row. I prayed again. There I was again. I believe, let me have another girl. So bad, with another girl so bad that I got the 2 at the end. So that I was happy. And then because I asked for the 10, because there wasn't a brother who was equally yoked. And there were different difficulties because women are not really supposed to be raising men by themselves because it's impossible to do. So I had to bring them, but I had to bring them amongst men to teach them. Yeah, that wasn't a problem. You understand what I'm saying? But it would have been nice to have the father there and record, and that's when I went to God. That was my birth control. It's my birth control. Talk to God about it. You understand? 'Cause I know I wasn't thinking about it. Man, it mess you up on the inside. It might take you out of here too. So I don't mess around with any of the artificial stuff. Go straight to the source. If that's the one who makes everything, where do you think you need to go to get that done? I'm talking about for real. When you're talking to God for real, and when you're getting the result of that for real, and I know what I'm talking about, because I've never had a pregnancy, because you know I would never have an abortion or any of those type things. It's against God. So what did God do? I promised the 10th, and I said what I would do was, if you would, you know better than me, you understand? If it need be, I would do it, but I'm gonna leave it in your hands about the rest, and I didn't have any more, because He wouldn't put any more on you than you can bear. God will never do that to you. He has a plan for you. You make yourself bad. You make it bad for you, because you want to do what you want to do, and you're not listening from the inside of yourself. You're not taking heed. You're not taking that quiet time out that you need for yourself every single day. There's no more important time in this world than God time. You need that more than you need any other time. You have to take that time out every single day of your life if you expect to exist in this life. And I don't care if it's 10 minutes. Should be at least 20. You can get that if you can watch a TV program for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. God at least deserved that much. So I'm not talking about something about I don't have time. I can't get in the scriptures. I ain't got time like that. Man, let me tell you about time. With all the things that are in my hand, I just went on a fast. I went on a fast for how many days now, y'all?
400 years.
It's 40 something or other. I quit when I got on the plane.
She's been on longer than Jesus was in the Bible.
I've done it before. He knows, He bears witness to that, because I've done it before. See, I do what makes me feel good. These are my healing techniques. You know, when you really want to heal and you don't have no other, you get in those scriptures and you fast and you mean what you say and say what you mean, and let them scriptures get inside of you and become that, you heal. You ain't got to worry about that much. So I was flying for a while. I had to calm down. I had to slow it down. I was flying so high, I didn't even need a coat on outside. I was freezing outside. I need a coat. I was like, wow, the best fast. And what it was, and this was the preparation for here. So what it was that flying power and that energy and that light, everything that came in was the representation of what was going to take place here. God was letting me know how serious this was, how powerful this is, and what I'm showing you, based upon what I see, what I was seeing, all the things that I was seeing, this is what it's going to be. And I was like, wow, I was being blown away. Like, wow, it's the time. I knew about it, but now it's the time for it. So I felt like the President of the United States right now. You know, you know what I'm saying? We was on the same page at the same time. All of this time, I found this out at the same time. I didn't even know, I'm telling you, I didn't know. I didn't know until I read it in the book, and it just happened to be, this book is the book of, I'll tell you how much this stuff costs. I happened to be flipping over, I said, oh, what's my name? In the book. And my daughter. And then the crystal plaque that they sent me in the mail came in the mail. I didn't know, because all I do is a good job. I do the best job that I could do. You understand what I'm saying? I don't even lift my head. Whatever it is, I take care of it. Let me look real good, and I take good care of that. And everything else comes. Everything comes. More than you can hold. I'm talking about from a mother, grandmother, you know what I mean? 7 children, single-handed. You know what I mean? No different. Lots of obstacles. And a very weakened person from illness. That today, like I said, I can still have it. Like I said, if Jesus had somebody had to need to come in, You know, me and God, we got that connection. We got that kind of connection. I understand, you know, and I carry it to the best. Like I did each of them, held them, took care of them. I didn't let nobody come in. Look, I walk around like this. You know, what little walking I did. What little walking, because I didn't even get out that much. I didn't even, you know, I mean, and put them in those negative environments and all that, because you have to take this job very seriously. I come over, you know, hold on to them like this. So I was communicating and knowing and understanding what was really going on with me on the inside. You see? So taking into, I'm gonna close for now, because I have so many things to share. When I come back, I have lessons prepared for each time that I come that I really, really, really desperately want to share. You know what I mean? And these are facts. These are real serious facts, and things that I've collected over time. I'm always in school. I've never learned enough. So, and God sends me everywhere, like I told you. Over there in Beijing, of course, the Chinese doctors, they don't speak English, but I had a beautiful interpreter right there in front, you know, to interpret everything that I need, everything that I've needed. Treated me like royalty. I was the black queen.
You are the royalty.
Of course. But they let me know every ground I step. You understand? Yes. They let you know who you are, which is different. Oh man, but when I came back home from China, I was this high off the ground for a month. I had to ease down. You know what I mean? Because of all that wonderful, that goodness that was shared, and that love, and those blessings, and that energy, that spirituality that was shown. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna close. But does anyone have any questions that they really? Okay. Okay.
I have weak eyes. Is there a way to cure that?
See, let me share something real quick. I can't use the word cure. I can't use the word cure, but my Dr. Ginseng, who is a father of iridology in this country, who I studied under, he did this for 66 years, and I take his word for it. He's 96 years old. His eyes will still sparkle like stars, skin smooth as baby, hair like silk. And had energy, good Lord, it embarrassed him. But you can always make things better. Depending on what type of disease is going on, you can always make it better. Remember, your body produces 1 billion cells every hour. It's all tissue, all cell tissue. You understand? And blood vessels and so forth. All right? And I know what it's all made up of. So you can always make it better. To what degree and how much consistent you are, and what if I was to direct you to tell you what to do. And also, I used to wear glasses. I don't wear them now. I have real good sight. I had a fun child, so I know it's possible. What I'm saying is possible. I'm talking about first from myself. You know what I mean? From a little child that be putting glasses on me.
How much would it cost?
Oh, to a consultation? Consultation fees right now. This is hot. Right now, the consultation fee is only $50, and that's because I was blessed to be here, and I needed to be here. So the way was given for me to be here, that I could charge you like that. So all I can tell you is try to take advantage of it while I'm here, because I don't know what's going to cost you next.
That's right.
You understand? You get to getting while the getting is good. That's what my dad used to say. Get to getting while the getting is good, because I don't know what it's going to cost, and I'm telling you that's the truth. Right now, I can charge you that because the burden was light on me. See, when God gives you something, He don't make it hard. That's how you know it comes from God. He wants you to do things with ease. I came here on a plane. I was floating. I was like, whoa. I was on the plane. It was beautiful. It was one of the most beautiful rides I ever had. And I've been everywhere. You understand? I was on that plane for 20 hours going to China. Okay? Okay.
Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, we back. You know, I want to say this is historical. You know, for the people in attendance and for the people out there in TV land. This is the first time in our history here, that people have come from another place to teach here. Historically, Malcolm X. I did some research. I was checking it out. Malcolm ain't do it. None of our greats have come to Germany and spoke here. So this is historic just for the fact that it's even taking place here. My brother from the UK, he actually said he dreamt about coming here, and now he's sitting here. And he does the same thing in UK. Actually, the next speaker who's coming up, Black Dot, he just did a lecture there in the UK, and it was fabulous. The brother I want to bring up now is a master. Brother A. Rashid is remarkable. If you didn't check out anything, you at the end you was like, but you got to do the first things first. You know, if you don't have a basic grasp of the Hebrew letters, the alphabet, then you're really gonna be out of whack. So I encourage you to check this brother out and check out everything he's done. And without further ado, Brother A. Rashid.
Islam family. Where's the brother that gave me the euros? Okay, I got you. All right, make sure I get him back his bread. All right, them people looked at that American dollar like it was a pariah. Like I pulled the insect out my pocket, you know? But essentially it really was an experience to come here to witness firsthand that the dollar is really an illusion where we're at, and it's backed by our intent and our feelings, simply. So it's an honor to be here in Germany with our human family. I'm very happy to be here. Also, I'd like to thank Brother Darren for coming all the way from his home in the UK to see us, and I'd like to thank Brother Curtis Gilyard and his entire family. Your mother's intro was phenomenal. That is the goddess, and you got your intelligence honestly, you know. So, and your humor and your aura. It's wonderful. Okay. That's my man. I don't know how y'all do it. This guy's crazy. Now, first and foremost, if you're not familiar with the with any of the things that I teach or I'm attempting to impart, I teach essentially what is considered the secret teachings of Israel. The secret teachings of Israel are the underlying cryptic meanings of the book that has, for the most part, the most impact on everything on the entire planet, which is the Bible. I teach brothers and sisters that essentially the book is not a literal book. The book is meant to connect you psychologically to the reality that the celestial imperative on high, what's going on in the stars, has a deep, lasting impact on the physical world. You are a stellar being, and those tribes that they talk about are nothing but the constellations. So when you're a Scorpio, when you're a Taurus, when you're any of these different signs, when they speak about your specific designation, they're giving you instructions on your soul assignment, on what are you to do when you're here. So if you read into the story appropriately, you'll see it's a myth, and myth is used as a tool of psychology for the endeavor of self-actualization. It's so that you can learn how to rise each day and become a better person. Self-actualization is when you begin to see your own flaws, your own maladies, and you're able to take those things into your own hands and make your next step your best step. So now, from that, tomorrow I'm going to speak specifically to my brothers who are in the fraternal order of Freemasonry. There would not be any Freemasonry, and it's very significant. The reason why I'm speaking about Freemasonry is in Germany is because Germany is a hotbed for anything fraternal. In the States, we are all familiar with the Skull and Bones. Well, a lot of people don't know the original name of Skull and Bones was German Order number 322. That's when it was first introduced and put on log as a corporate entity. It had the term Germany intertwined in it. And as you all know, we are in Bavaria, and we've all heard of the Bavarian Illuminati. Yes. So it's very significant that you all come tomorrow and bring your friends and bring your notes, because we're going to advance a lot of concepts, and we're not going to get too entrenched in history. What we're going to do is we're going to go right to the text, and we're going to demonstrate from the Bible and the text that many of the things that they're talking about, especially in reference to King Solomon's temple, are spiritual and nothing more than that. And they are coordinates on how to fill essentially the emptiness of what your volume is. You know, when you remember in school, when you want to measure the inside of something that has nothing in it, you have to measure the volume of it, right? So now the volume, you all are vessels, and all of you have a volume, but what is in your volume? What is filling you up, right? So now, what are your coordinates? And this is what I'm going to speak about tomorrow, that those coordinates, those numbers, those measurements, those different apertures in the temple, different various, symbolisms, are all nothing more than indications rather of who you are and your import in this world. So without further ado, I want to bring up one of my mentors, one of my teachers. And when I was in the trenches, one of the brothers who came with a torch, with a real light to enlighten me within the darkness from my experience, and that's Brother Black Dot. So without any further ado, please put the warm black hands together and bring that brother up.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace, Lord.
It's a pleasure to be here up in Germany. I'm not going to repeat much of what A.A. Rashid said, but it was very similar. This information that we are here to present is nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun, only that which has been forgotten. But the times we are living in now, because we live in cyclic times, we are awakening again on the planet. I first would like to also give another warm round hand to Nadine Gilyard, please. The information that she was delivering was profound. And what made it more profound for me than anything else was one particular component that she didn't mention, but I can tell was there, and that's love. It was demonstrated through everything she was talking about. Love is that hidden power that a lot of us have taken out of the equation of what we do. So every time she talked about the nurturing itself generates a form of energy and power that can heal you. So anyone can give you a few herbs and say, all right, well, give me some money and I'll see you in a week. But if they don't love you, and it's the same thing in the school systems in America, you can tell. I still remember my first grade teacher, my third grade teacher, the ones that I could tell that really loved me. They really cared for me. You know what I'm saying? And you wanted to go the extra mile, not just someone there putting on a demonstration so they can get their money. So the people who love you, I coach Little League basketball in the neighborhood, and these kids will knock on my door at 7 in the morning. Like, Coach D, it's time to come out. And I might have been hanging out all night, partying, forgot it was practice, hoping they show late. No, they on time. Because they know what, I began to find out what it meant to them was more than just basketball. A lot of them don't have a father, and you become their father figure. I cleared out all the furniture in my living room about 12 years ago. No, maybe about 10, 11 years ago, and I began to tutor the children in the neighborhood. They were all like in the 7th grade, and I did it because my son, I have a 22-year-old son, but at the time he was like 10, 11 years old, and all the children, I could not keep the children out of the neighborhood from coming in my house. We had computers, because I had a friend who worked in the school system, and a couple of computers just came up missing. He told me, go to the garbage can, pull up at 9:30 at night, it's going to be some supplies. So we had all the supplies we needed, and they would come in, we would feed them. If they didn't have school books, we would buy them school books out of our own pocket. I remember one student that year, we bought him a bike. You know, these little things, I say all that to say now all of them are in college or graduated from college. There was about 12 of them. You know what I'm saying? So you begin to see, and that's because we loved them. Yes. There was no money involved. We genuinely loved them kids. You know what I mean? So, and to this day, one of them has just become a youth instructor, and now he's doing the same things, and he constantly telling me where it started. So I say all of that to say that love is critical in this day and time. And all the magazines and newspapers and music videos is void of love. So we're not getting the same results as when grandma, because she sounded like my grandma. My grandmother dealt with herbs, and my grandmother loved everybody. You know, you can always go get something to eat at grandma's house. No matter what my problems was, grandma had the solution. I don't care what the problem was. Grandma said, come on over here, baby. And when I left grandma's house, it might have just been the meal that she made, but the wisdom she was imparting on me, I walked out and I had the answers that I needed. That's what's missing in this day and time. So me and Brother True Master was talking yesterday, and we mentioned Dr. King and how what you put out is what you get back. Your thoughts are magnetic. So when he was talking about turn the other cheek and all that, we laughed at it, but it was profound now, because what he was saying is you can eliminate your enemies with love.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
See, you know, I'm going to be honest. I was on the Malcolm X tip, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Nigga hit me, son, it's on. However, when in retrospect, what Dr. King was saying was profound. We can eliminate all enemies with love, because what you put out is what you get back. You know what I'm saying? So all that's key. I'm going to be jumping around a little bit because that's just how the melanin works. We're in Bavaria, Germany, so it's critical because my first introduction into the Illuminati, or the term Illuminati, was from here, obviously, because you get the myth of Adam Weishaupt, and, you know, he was carrying the secret documents on how to bring in the New World Order, and someone stopped him. But in 1993 or 4, all of them books began to flood, you know, New York City and America, bringing us an archetype, so to speak, of the Illuminati. And we all know that that's all our ancient science. Ain't nothing new under the sun. However, it was being brought to us with someone else's signature, so to speak, on it. So we began to, in our subconscious mind, create the Illuminati. You know what I'm saying? That's how magic works, especially in Hollywood and movies. When they want to bring about an idea, they want you, the one with the magic, to actualize the event. So they pop it in your subconscious mind and give you a myth, because it has to have the myth behind it. You know what I'm saying? And we, in our thinking and thought process, created the Illuminati as it exists today. That's just how that science works. You know what I'm saying? So in the movies, when they bring in you advanced things are about to happen, or for instance, they may tell you AIDS started in Africa, or AIDS kills, and they put a number on it, 10 billion people. Those are numbers that they have just come out of the woodworks with. But once we accept it, once we accept that that's what it is, then that's what it is. Our ancestors taught us all is mental. So once we begin to accept the lie becomes real. Jay-Z, perfect example. He was a mid-level hustler in Brooklyn. He sat around and watched real hustlers put it in, but he could articulate the story very well. After he got finished creating his own myth out of his mouth, he is now the biggest drug dealer that ever lived on wax. And we accepted it. Once everyone around the world accepted these great stories that he was telling, they are now real. He just created another reality for him to walk into. Who can tell him or anybody that that story is not real, or those stories he was telling? But we know it started just from a myth that he began to create. He began to look around and he could put words together and paint pictures with words. But once you tell a lie long enough, it's real. All right? We begin to act on the lie. World Trade Center bombed. We know bin Laden ain't had nothing to do with that. However, we live our life in New York with the Patriot Act as if he did. You see what I'm saying? So I don't care about what's true and what's not. If you believe it and accept it, it is. Lee Harvey Oswald was the lone gunman that killed John F. Kennedy. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what the history books now say. So it is. Even if it was so many holes in it, it was like cheddar cheese, the story. Forget about it. This is what we put in the book, and this is what your children are going to read, and this is what your children are going to believe, and that's what it is. So I say all of that to say this whole stuff about the New World Order and all that stuff, what goes around comes around. Tomorrow, True Master is going to bring it all home. I'm going to start from the essence of it, you know what I'm saying, of how I got into this particular information and things of that nature, because that's deep too. My filter is through hip-hop. I filter everything that I'm about to present to you through a hip-hop lens. And that's important for me because I sat around all the masters who were teaching, and I kept asking the question, okay, this is cool and all, but my brothers on the corner are not going to understand that information because it's not in their language. Language is important. So I sat around for 10 years studying all the masters who were teaching metaphysics, numerology, astrology, occult science, and I began to filter it through my reality, which was hip-hop. And when I did that, it opened up a vortex, because now I got young brothers on the corner understanding higher principles that they could not grasp before, simply because I'm speaking in a language in which they understand. I was speaking to a brother earlier, and I was saying, well, let's take, for example, the way brothers and sisters dance. And they think it's a new dance. But once I show them that it's a dance that was done by our ancient ancestors, that opens up a gateway, because now they can deal with the present, and they can look at the past and see everything is simultaneously. There is no past, present, and future. Everything is simultaneous. But I can also say, well, listen, through the DNA is how you can remember those dances that the ancients did. So now I just introduced DNA into the child's thought stream. And that DNA became the bridge or the ladder, so now I can show them how it correlates. So I filter everything through hip-hop, even things that are not supposed to be filtered. And I do this purposely because whatever lessons you're teaching, if the people you're teaching do not understand it, what good is it? So these brothers get caught into, I'm real deep, you real deep, but who understands what you're teaching? If everyone walks out your class just as confused as when they came in, you've done a poor job. And that could be a science teacher, a math teacher. You know, you get some teachers in school, they love what they do and they can teach it to you. I got it. And then some, they teach in like real boring and monotone. And they're very deep because it's something they learn, but you walk out just as confused as when you went in. So my filter is through hip-hop. I know A.A. Rashid's filter is the Kabbalah. You know what I'm saying? True Master is going to deal with 120 degrees of, you know, from the nation of gods and earths. That's its foundation filter. So those are the lessons that he's going to be filtering. Your filter may be a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? There is no one way to learn. All right? Especially not for us in particular. So with that said, I'm going to begin to put on a little PowerPoint presentation and use the filters that I have been gifted with to get it popping. All right? So you can't really see the top of that. Let me just push this back a little bit. So we're going to start in early. All right, so our wall is not big enough. At the top of this might be good for the tape, but not necessarily. Let's see if I can do that maybe. Yeah, let me get some books. Let me just use a few of these DVDs gone for now. No, that just went up even higher. All right, that's what I'll do. All right. So I'm going to steal some of A.A. Rashid's ability to filter this information. This is where I really want it. Let me come down a little bit more. maybe too low. All right, that's just gonna have to do. All right, so this is the Kabbalah, it's the tree of life. Hip hop. Yes, everybody good? Okay. This is an archetype or a template that I want you to remember. All right, because this, when a child sees this, this may open up his gateway to Kabbalah. So at the top of the tree, you know the tree has 10 sephirah. You know what I'm saying? And 22 pathways. But at the very top, because I'm just going to deal with music in America, so to speak. So we had the Negro spirituals, what we call the Negro spirituals, which were these songs that our slave ancestors sung, but the songs were very deep in spirituality because it kept the family together, but it also was coded with information on how we can escape and things of that nature. Now, not all of our ancestors were slaves. Let's not get into that because we've been everywhere since the beginning of time. All right, but the ones who were had to use music, all right, as a form of communication, teaching, and music heals. We know I'm a big Al Green fan. That was my father's favorite artist. I know that's how he bagged my mom's. I know he threw that Al Green on. I know this. You know what I'm saying? And got it popping. But when I go through my hard times, I throw that Al Green in, and it does something for my spirit. All right? So we know that them songs were coded, swing low, sweet cherry, all them kind of songs was coded with information on how we're gonna navigate and get out of the conditions that we in. And we were beating those drums. They took that drum away. You know why? Because that drum is a language all in itself. You know, we could start wars with the drum. We beat the drum to celebrate life. The drum, like I said, was a language in itself because I can beat a drum a certain way and it can talk directly to your essence and give you instruction and things of that nature. So this is why hip hop is very important. We're going to get to that. All right, then we have gospel, which is when the so-called slave masters decided they wanted to give us some form of religion, which, you know, we didn't need religion, but when you under certain kind of rules and things of that nature, they gave us religion. And they gave us their interpretation of what religion was and things of that nature. We were spiritual beings, all right? So religion is not necessarily spiritual. It can be, but it's not necessarily. Some people are just in it to make some money. Some people just in it to follow some kind of instruction or give their core self to some existence or entity that may or may not exist. Okay, but we began to sing them gospel songs. All right, and them gospel songs, if you ever been to a gospel church, I don't care how in line you think you are, when that choir starts singing and them organs, that's why they call it an organ, it begins to resonate with all your organs. When that organ get going and them people catch the Holy Ghost or spirit, you know what I'm saying? Because it's activating that energy, it's on. And I've been in church recently, and I got the rocking. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about what the preacher himself was saying. It was the music. It was the energy in the church. And that's why the church is designed that way, you know, to give you the acoustics, a certain type of energy with the acoustics. So we began to sing them gospel songs. You know what I'm saying? Them gospel songs was very important, kept the family together. You know, talked about our passage. We was encoding things in those songs as well. So a lot of people, you know, a lot of brothers got fed up with the gospel or wanted a little bit more, and we got into the blues. And the blues, again, was singing from the heart. See, the blues is the heart chakra. Even though the heart chakra itself is green, it dealt with love, it dealt with mischief, it dealt with sad times. My woman has left me. I need my woman back. I need the family back together. That's what them songs was. You know what I'm saying? So again, we began to spin off and do different things. In jazz, as you know, jazz in itself is a very spiritual music for us. New Orleans is very famous for jazz, but the horns and the way those horns and a lot of brothers were manipulating sound with the instruments that they were using brought about a very spiritual energy in New Orleans, dealing with the voodoo or the vaudon, the music played a catalyst in it. They go hand in hand, so to speak. So, you know, we got into that, and then, you know, we moved into some R&B, which is, you know, that rhythm and blues, Sam Cooke, Ray Charles, and them brothers began to sing about love, true love. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of the church didn't necessarily agree with that decision at the time, but these brothers in their soul felt that they needed to do it because, again, love is a very important component. So that R&B kicked in, R&B and jazz really gave birth to rock. And when I say rock, rock is another one of our forms of music we don't get a lot of credit for, but it is ours. All music is. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit more rugged. It was like the fusion of funk and jazz, bringing you them rock, and Jimi Hendrix and them brothers were hitting notes that still cannot be hit today. The way he was manipulating his guitar, you have to be a melanated being to interpret sound and make something out of nothing. Because remember, art, we are the gateway for art. We bring the unseen into the seen, or the unheard into the heard, with art being the vessel to do so. So art is very important to us. It's not just about beats, rhymes, and having a good time. We use it, you know, to raise us up. Again, we got into the funk era. We got into the reggae era. Bob Marley himself single-handedly raised the vibration of the nation with his songs of love and redemption. Okay, so everything that we need, we already armed with. We don't need an army of this and that. We need to just recognize the tools that we have here at our disposal and use it for those specific purposes. So if you're going to make a certain drum as a producer and your intent is just to make money and have women shake their booties, then that's your intent. And as Mother God has said, if you want it enough, you'll have it. But if your intent is to use those drums to maybe realign someone's DNA, and that's the intent that you're putting into the drums as you're making it, then you are programming the drum for a specific purpose and reason, and that's the intent, if you love it enough and you truly feel so, will get. All right? Spoken word, I put that down there because, of course, you know, the last poets were the first real MCs. We've been MCing forever, but they were taking, you know, the very concept of spoken word and rhyme forms and this and that, the speaking, and speaking is important, the way we speak. This Obama thing, you know, Obama was dealing with neuro-linguistic programming. And that's the way we speak in certain rhythm forms, especially up in the church or the brother on the corner trying to get up with mommy. We do things in a certain rhythm, you know what I mean? It automatically opens you up. So neuro-linguistic programming. So spoken word came, and it did its job. And I put hip-hop in the kingdom because it is the culmination of all other music forms that came before it. No other music form can say that. No one in music can take a jazz record, sample it up, make it hip-hop, an R&B record, a rock record, opera records. There are no rules, so to speak, for hip-hop. Hip-hop, in its true intent, was supposed to be the kingdom. It was supposed to be that music that took all the other DNA of all the other musics at a time when we needed it the most. And that time, of course, 1973, up in the Bronx, where the people are fresh. You know what I'm saying? And it was supposed to be our ancestors. To me, it was a gift from our ancestors to sort of realign and reconnect us to who we were. So we're waiting for these gifts and these messiahs, and the messiah is not necessarily a person, it's a spirit, it's an energy. You know what I'm saying? So that messiah came in the form of this music, because remember, dance, beating on the drums, the oracle, and give me another one. Oh, the glyphs, the hieroglyphs. We've been doing that since the beginning of time. It just take on different forms and different manifestations of that. So those are the four basic components of hip hop. The DJ, because once they took all the, you know, the instruments out of the class and the drums out of the classrooms itself, we had to find another way to emulate that drum. So brothers was in the lunchroom, beating on the table, beatboxing, but it gave us the drum again. You know what I mean? The hieroglyphs, if, you know, we've been putting up these glyphs because pictures are worth 1,000 words. And if our ancestors didn't have time necessarily to write 10,000 words, they put a picture up or a glyph and said, when y'all already study it, all the answers are being coded in it. So the first graffiti artists were writing on walls and trains, and that train became the word. In the beginning was the word. Right? That's what the good books say. Well, in the beginning, the hip-hop was the word as well, and it was graffiti. And they wrote it on the trains, and it went through all the 5 boroughs and activated brothers' pineal glands and things of that nature. And those, if you see any classic graffiti, a lot of it still can't be interpreted today, except the one who put it up and those with that eye who can pick that kind of stuff up. All right? Dance. We've been dancing to make it rain. We have ancestors who understand the geometrical formations of the body forming those 90-degree angles, and we understand it is also sound, but sound that you cannot hear. Okay? So we communicated with... Of course. All right. So we communicated with higher being, you know, entities and higher energies. If the crops was getting too dry, the ones who understood the science could make it rain. Now they got songs out, make it rain on them. Now, side note, I would take that song, Make It Rain on Them, you see what I'm saying? And connect that to our ancient ancestors who literally made it rain. So now I took a concept of a song from Lil Wayne that our children may be relating to now and just connected it to some ancient ancestors, just that quick. This is what I mean I filtered through hip hop. And the oracle. The oracle became the MC. The oracle passed our tradition down from mouth to mouth, from mouth to ear. And that oracle was usually that elder in the community. And everyone would gather around the elder because the elder held the history in its truest form. When I wanted to know something about my mother, I did not go to my mother. I went to her mother. Because she holds the true essence, can tell me who my mother was when my mother was my age. And before, and when I was a child, and things of that nature. So the oracle, those are the 4 basic principles of hip-hop. Those are the 4 basic principles that no one can take from you right now. Your heartbeat is the drum. All right, that's why a lot of music in the Dirty South has the same rhythm pattern as your drum, or the same tempo. That's why a lot of that music resonates that way with them, but it's the drum. Your hand, your ability to write those glyphs that may not make sense to somebody else, but make sense to you, they're coming out of your subconscious mind. Your ability to scribe, your ability to dance. R. Kelly had a song I call Happy People. And the basis of the song was, just paraphrasing, what do we do when times are bad? What do we do when, you know, things are not going well? We dance. Because that's what our ancestors did. And this would drive slave masters and them crazy. Because they like, hold on. We beat these people to death. And they dancing and singing. The more we beat them, the more they dance and the more they sing. Because that's how we heal ourselves, through our music and things of that nature. So with that said, I just wanted to keep that as an archetype in the minds of the children when they want to know how hip-hop came about. It didn't just pop out of the thin air. And in the middle, I put DNA as that hidden doorway, Rashid. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the gateway, you know what I'm saying? Which we can bring unseen things, or we carry the information that our ancestors imparted in us through that DNA. Okay, and here are the 3 pillars that are also involved with the tree of life. It's kind of dark. Severity, mildness.
You want to dim your lights?
And mercy. No, because I'm going to get light again. I just want to put this up. The pillars are also involved. You know what I'm saying? With the Kabbalah, Rashid will go into this extensively tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But the pillars for us in hip-hop was the speakers. We had, the DJ stood in the middle. He was the actual 3rd pillar. And on one side of him was massive speakers, Kool Herc, and on the other side, massive speakers. Again, just showing you the correlation. So, them, big, massive speakers became the pillars. So we still operating on a spiritual base, even when we didn't realize what we were doing. You know what I'm saying? I think I got a picture of Kool Herc. Yeah, that's Kool Herc. Is the very first hip hop DJ, the one we give credit to. That's him driving in his car, taking his speakers. His speakers could be heard from 6 blocks away. That was the sound that was going out that was letting me know that the jam was going on. I can look out my window and listen, and I can hear Kool Herc's music from 6 blocks away. He had the massive system. Africa Bambaataa had the massive record collection. So that was, you know, he was the master of records. Still is to this day. You see what I'm saying? But Kool Herc's system, he was Hercules, and he had a Herculean system. You know what I'm saying? If he told you to turn your system down and you didn't, he would just turn his system up, and they would no longer hear your system. Okay? So, you know, just lining all this up, it all makes sense. You know, you've heard of square and a circle. You know what I'm saying? It's which, you know, technically, you try to find the circumference of the circle and make it equal to the square. But a circle is an approximate, it's not exact, whereas the square has 4 equal sides, so to speak. So it's impossible on a physical level. Spiritually, the circle represents spirituality intertwining with matter. You know what I'm saying? The matter being, you know, the 4 basic, you know, elements and things of that nature. So even in hip hop, because I'm gonna get to this in a minute, that was our way of circling the square. You see what I'm saying? The turntable itself was square, but the record was actually spinning. It was a circle. The record is spiritual because it's whatever you record on the record was your spirit and soul just encaptured within the record. You see what I'm saying? So that was our way in the hood, a square in a circle, or so forth and so on. Again, just lining everything up. I use a hip-hop filter to show you how deep we are and how deep this science is. And the record, remember, spun, and everything is spinning right now. You see what I'm saying? We're spinning, our blood is spinning, everything is spinning. You see what I'm saying? So the spinning in it gives it its energy or its vortex. You see what I'm saying? So that's how deep that is. Now, I want to show something else really quick. The Kaaba. All right? Out in Mecca is how everyone is spinning 7 times around this, you know, device, this Kaaba, to generate energy. And if everyone's thought process is the same, is synced up with the same thing, that's how you create your magic. So they're getting what they want now. They go counterclockwise. See, because clockwise is subjecting us to time. That's why you get the term clockwise. Counterclockwise is our way to escape time. And they would go counterclockwise 7 times, dealing with the 7 planes of existence, the 7 chakras, you know, things of that nature. So this was their way of escaping time and dealing on a spiritual realm where time does not exist. Go back to the record. What did we do? We began to spin the record backwards. You know what I'm saying? Flash and them things was cutting the record, but it became significant when they began to spin the record backwards, opening up vortexes. Okay? And the record itself is nothing but melanin. Record is black, it's melanin. You know what I'm saying? Spinning, opening up them vortexes. So, and remember, record is the actual sound. A CD is what sound would sound like if it was sound. You know what I'm saying? It's just a digital replication of what sound would sound like. But a record itself is sound. It's captured sound. So we was out there manipulating time and space with 2 turntables. All right? Just giving you the high science. Because these are the signs we got to understand, that we keep looking for somebody to return, and we already here. We already here. You see what I'm saying? And we just beginning to realign that DNA to get back to what we do. All right? So that's very, very key. You know what I mean? And you got the square, you got the circle, and you got the phallic symbol. The record went on the phallic symbol. All right? And the record itself had, you know what I'm saying, what we, you know, the female aspect of it. So you're creating a new energy in itself. You're giving birth to new things right there. All on a turntable and a record.
And the diamond needles, too.
And the diamond needles. The crystals. that the record was actually played on. It's all science. All of it is science. We may not have recognized it was science as we was doing it because we the gods. We do. It's someone else's job to come back later and tell you what was going on.
Thank you.
Okay, that's not our job. Someone will come later and tell you what it is we're doing and why we're doing it. Okay, that's just the physical body. You also can make the square or the circle, all depending how you stand, the square, the circle. I'm going to talk about that because hip-hop is the embodiment of all of that. We square in a circle just by being. Your hands, 5-pointed stars. You sleep under a pyramid when you lay down, you know what I'm saying? Which is, you know, how we magnify energy. It goes on and on and on. I just got finished telling you the drum beat, the hip-hop beat is the heart itself. You know what I'm saying? Your ability to move, you know what I'm saying? That's the sacred dancer. Your ability to speak that word, that's the MC. We don't need any external devices to be hip-hop. So when KRS One said, I am hip-hop, people thought he was out of his mind at first. But when you break down who we really are, I am hip-hop. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Your ability to use your hands to write and come up with glyphs and things of that nature, you are the embodiment of hip-hop. Anything external is just to help you along the way. And we're going to talk about that too. All right? I just put the golden mean up, you know, again, to show you the record. Everything is geometry. All right? Everything has a specific code that it follows to come into a physical existence. Even us. You know what I mean? So the geometry of the record itself, the golden mean, and you know, the golden mean is what's that equation? 1 + 1 = 2, 1 and 2 = 3, 2 and 3 = 5. You just keep adding up the two numbers previous and so forth and so on. All right? Boom. Flower of life. Again, sacred geometry. These are actual Vesica Pisces over Vesica Pisces over Vesica Pisces, and there's 13 of them. You know what I'm saying? It starts out with the one in the middle, and every time you come across the middle of one, you create another form, another energy. This can be found in the ancient temples of Kemet right now. They don't even know how old it is, so to speak. And it's 13, and that number is significant, we know. But what a lot of people don't realize is in some circles, they're saying it didn't take one sperm to, you know, impregnate the egg. It took the sacrifice of 12 others to make the way for that one sperm. All right? So Jesus and the 12 disciples is on a metaphysical principle. He didn't get there by himself. 12 other dudes or 12 other sperm cells had to make the way for him to come in. So that's why the number 13 is also very significant on a metaphysical level. All right? Okay, we want to talk about the music and the DNA. All right? Our DNA is very important to us. And, you know, me and True Master was talking yesterday because, you know, we be building and stuff. And he was saying that every time they try to crack this DNA, our DNA finds a way to reprogram itself. It is a computer that cannot be hacked. It can appear to be hacked, and I added, when they came out with crack cocaine to try to crack the code of who he was, some people got bagged. You know, a lot of people didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? But it seemed like 2 or 3 years later, them same people are no longer affected by it. The crack has done nothing. There are functional crackheads now. Crackheads with jobs. They got cars, but good credit. You know what I mean? When it first came through, because the computer that is the melanin couldn't figure it out at first. You know what I'm saying? But once the computer that is that melanin, that spirit figured it out, it was ball game. It was like, yo, please, this is nothing. This is nothing. Send more down. You understand what I'm saying? So we talking about that's how powerful that DNA is. You know what I mean? And they keep trying to find new ways to alter our DNA. You know what I'm saying? Through the music is very important. That music in the 60s, did more for my soul than most people can imagine. Them songs about revolution after the Civil War, the Civil Rights Movement, all of them songs were cleansing our DNA for us. No matter how many external things that they were trying to bring at us, our DNA was fixing us up. And we got to understand to study it more and understand how important it is to, our cosmic DNA and our inner DNA. You see what I'm saying? Because as above, so below, as within, so without. You know what I mean? So I just want to show a picture of the cosmic joint DNA. The universe is made by sound. Everything has got sound, color, and light in it in some form or fashion. God said, let there be light. That means he spoke, or she spoke, or it spoke, and the very speaking began to create those geometrical forms that will bring matter into a physical existence. Let there be light. Let there be water. Let there be birds. But they're programs. You know what I'm saying? And the harmonics of that line those programs up. You know what I mean? So, just want to show. This is the actual universe. You can see the DNA. You know what I'm saying? The double helix. As above, so below. Everything that's going on in the heavens is going on here on earth and in your body. All right? So just want to, show a few things. I'm going to read a little bit. Scientists write down these amino acids. I forget about the top part. If people can understand how the music is produced, this gentleman, Mr. Clark, said, they can understand how DNA codes proteins. Clark said one of the more interesting things demonstrated by the music is the differences and similarities between the same protein of different species. While some proteins change very little between species, others, such as beta globin, are quite variable. Therefore, Clark said, by playing the beta globin song for a human and to Tantura, an ancient three-eyed lizard, people can hear the process of evolution, a variation on theme that was present before mammals split from reptiles some 200 million years ago.
It's crazy.
All right? So they're now talking about using sound to learn your history in a nutshell, to find out the differences. So as we're being made, because I believe when the cell splits about 8 times, you still don't know if it's a boy or girl. You know what I'm saying? You don't. The cells, the animal cells are the same as the human cells until a certain level. So that means the music that's playing, the harmonic music, the music in your mind, the music in your thought, began to differentiate between you being an animal and you being a human, or things of that nature. This is how deep this is. All right, and the technology they're coming out with now, our ancestors knew this years ago, but the technology that they're coming up with now is verifying a lot of things our ancestors spoke and said it. You know what I mean? All right, the trick is to hear the music that is the body. If we can do so, the meaning of the body can be transformed. It becomes not a blind, silent, and doomed machine, but a glorious composition, a part of God's oeuvre, the great tone. All right, meaning and medicine. Larry Dosa again said, math makes a river, beating a human heart, the wobbling of the earth's axis. This is more than just simple pulse. The rhythms closely resemble irregular patterns of coastlines, clouds, and mountain ranges and other natural scenery. I say that to say they're dealing with weapon technology now that's sound-based. All right, so a lot of the harp stuff is sound. Them manipulating sound to make it rain or make it snow or create rivers. That's what creates rivers and things of that nature. All right, that constant sound, that humming of that water. Water is an intelligence. All of this stuff is important. The brain must then on some level perceive its reality as a musical complex landscape. And turning this around, the music we hear must feel like our earthly home. No wonder we love it. It is likely that something unusual is being communicated directly through the combinations and ratios of spectral music. All right? The descriptive adjectives one hears most often are soothing, comforting, and feeling a spacious expansion. Sequencia is not new age or demonstration music, nor was it composed to heal anyone. They have something called sequencia music now, which is supposed to reactivate or realign all your chakras, and it's good for meditation and things of that nature. It creates the harmonic sounds in their purest essence, so to speak. Just by playing the music, with certain, I would assume the type of equipment you use would have something to do with it. But they have synthesized these sounds to the point where you can play them and they can heal your body or help you begin to realign certain things. Yada 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 yada. I know I'm pressed for a little time. I spoke on sacred geometry. These are the 5 platonic solids that deal with sacred geometry. Icosahedron, octahedron, the star tetrahedron, the hexadron, which is the cube, and the dodecahedron. I always get the tongue twisters going with them. But these are the geometrical shapes, the 5 principles. You could throw the sphere in there, you know what I'm saying, as well. And this is nothing but anybody heard of Merkaba? How to activate your Merkaba? It's just an upward pyramid and a downward pyramid. It's the way we traveled interdimensionally. When you're able to activate your Merkaba, it puts this house of light around you so that you can travel. And it can be picked up by government radar. So if you activate in your Merkaba, you have a choice to be seen or unseen. So I don't want you to start activating your Merkaba and then the boys come and see you. And you don't know why. All right? So when people say they see things, remember, only 10% of the universe we can see. 90% we can't. So for those who can manipulate that particular 90%, it's entities all over. And here in particular, ain't this where the UFO first started, or the first Germans was hooking up the UFO for World War II and things of that? Yeah, okay. And the template was done here. All right? So boys are trying to put that work in. All right, and this is how some of those geometrical shapes begin to create us. We're nothing but geometrical shapes, as I spoke about before. You know what I'm saying? We're singing that song of life, and it's bringing us into a physical reality that we partake in. We're not physical. We just have fun with it. All right? We just manipulate. And this is all of those shapes combined. All right? When you put them all together, I forget the terminology of what this is called. But this becomes a whole, because that's alchemy. When you blend different energies and different shapes and create new shapes, and we are alchemists. And I forget the name. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. So bear with me. But this is how those shapes relate to color and sound. All right? So I wanted to show, in essence, the do, ra, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. They all have a geometrical shape. So when you say them, you're creating these shapes. All right? When you say, and that's how everyone tunes up before they sing. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. And when you say them and you purify, as Mother Goddess said, once you clear out all the toxins, you begin to hit notes you didn't know you could hit. You see what I'm saying? But when you're being bogged down by pollution and your thought process is polluted, you can no longer use your magic. You know what I'm saying? We were able to walk through dimensions by sound alone. If our intent was correct, you know what I mean? So we've lost that ability. However, I will say this. Remember, we're talking about that DNA and realigning. We got brothers and sisters out here who are capable of doing it. They may not know it. So this whole attack on hip-hop itself is, again, to stop the rise of those who can bring the magic back. So when you turn on your radio, and this is how they do it. You ever Google something, let's say you Google potato chips, and 1 billion articles on potato chips come up, and you don't know what's real, what ain't real, what's true, what you can use, what you can verify. So they flood the market in hip-hop. All of these dudes ain't MCs, impossible. All of these guys ain't producers, impossible, but they flood it, so when you hear the truth, you don't even know what the truth is. They're able to, you know what I'm saying, capture it at the gateway, and they are the gatekeepers. Record labels, movie industry, all that, they are specifically placed there because they know that's your magic. So they're placed at these places so you can bring the magic to them. And they can harness it, manipulate it, and use it for their benefit and not yours. Okay? So let's be clear. Let's be clear. This is how they do that. All right? And they got you chasing something that don't exist, like money. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that's your end all and be all, and it ain't worth the paper it's printed on. You could do with or without. Mother God just got finished speaking about the recession. We like, what recession? I'm black. What recession? We in a recession every day. So nothing changes for us. Nothing. Other people are jumping out of windows, killing their kids for the life insurance money and stuff like that. And we like, man, we getting on with the get on. I used to eat mayonnaise sandwiches and wish I had something in between all day, and it didn't matter. I'm still here. We're still here as a collective because there's something deeper going on with us than that. So they got us chasing all this external stuff because they want you to get involved. They're talking about the depression, this company falling, that company, because they want you to give your energy to it. Don't. keep on getting on. All right. So again, these sounds or these shapes are also color coded. And if you see, they're all color coded with the the chakra colors, the spectrum, and the sphere. We're going to talk about that because the sphere was made here too. The one you see at the World Trade Center by Koenig Fritz. Yeah, he was the designer of the sphere that sat out, which emulated the copper. It rotated every 24 hours.
Can I tell you where it's at now?
Yes.
They still have it there by the American, the indigenous people. I don't like calling them Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Indigenous People's Museum, and it's still harnessing all of the energy from that event horizon, and they got it right off the water.
Yes.
To amplify.
To amplify it even more. So it's still there. They just moved it to another spot and right up on the water to amplify that energy. It was done right here. Koenig Fritz. Look him up, one of your boys.
That's right.
All right? And it represented, remember, it represented the third pillar. At the World Trade Center, it represented that third pillar. And when they do that, they open up vortexes, gateways. You know what I'm saying? It's things that we used to do naturally. This is what they're doing. Because listen, magic, as my man Roswell used to say, it's nothing but a magical equation. So if there's a universal law that is in place and you just know that universal law, you can manipulate the universal law to your advantage or not. The energy itself is not good or bad. Your intent behind magic is good or bad.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
So if you knew that there was a ley line or a grid line that ran on the physical realm, and you knew, because they got a cross, and there's one on a spiritual realm, what you have done, if you find the precise spot, you can hop up into the, other dimensions. It's not spookism. It's just that you have manipulated the law. You understood the law and you took advantage of the law. Now, if you did that and came back, people would worship you and call you God. And then you would say, pay me and I will be your God. When you want some science or something, come to me, I'm God. That's how that works. But it's magic. It's like anything else. A gun, guns don't kill people. Niggas with guns kill people. A gun can be used to protect your home from intruders. You may know how to use it and things of that nature, and it stays in a safe place. It's not necessarily bad, but niggas with guns is going off. That's where the intent behind the tool you using makes it good or bad. All right? So just want to throw some of those notes out there. Okay, this just says this figure shows how the geometrical music theory represents 4 note code types, the collection of notes from a tetrahedron, with the colors indicating the spacing between the individual notes in a sequence. In the blue spheres, the notes are clustered. In the warmer colors, they are farther apart. The red ball at the top of the pyramid is the diminishing 7th chord, a popular 19th century chord. Near it, are all of the most familiar notes in music. Long story short, the music forms geometrical shapes. It's basically what it's saying. All right, so we use our music and our hip hop. And in the early stages, you see what hip-hop was doing, vibrational things of that nature. And that happened. And them people who understand occult science and understand signs and symbols knew that this was a sign. Whoa, 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 they're realigning. I see all of the basic elements. You know what I'm saying? Their DNA is realigning, so they gave you gangster rap. And the Matrix, they put a splice in it to counter all that energy that came before. They are their job. And that's where we're stuck now, where brothers who got real science don't have an outlet to have that science, because they know once those sounds are amplified, even through their means, their television, radio, it can raise the vibration of a people. Easy. Easy. That's what we do. That's the true magic that we possess. You know what I mean? And this is just a star configuration of some geometry as well. It's going on in the heavens, as above, so below. All right, ain't that crazy? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is what's going down.
That's crazy.
Oh, it's gonna get even crazier. Okay, this. All right.
One sec, bro. I'll mix this.
Okay, all right.
Gotta reload.
Reload.
Ran out of ammo.
Reload. Black dot reloaded.
Body in them, Doc. Your body in them.
Everybody good? Good. All right.
Rolling.
All right, so again, the 7 basic chakras, you have many more chakras than 7, but the 7 major wheels of light, they talk about it in what's the book of Ezekiel. In the Bible, they're talking about wheels of light. They're talking about your body. It's coded in certain ways that wasn't meant for us to pick up, but we're in a different age and time now, so we can go back and revisit all of that and have a different meaning and breakdown today than when we had then. So these are musical notes that relate to each particular chakra. If Alim was here, because Brother Alim was supposed to be here, peace to Brother Alim, peace to the God, we had some technical difficulties. He goes through this and he teaches this on a regular level on how if you're having problems in the root chakra area, that if you're creating the mantra or saying E in its proper frequency on a regular basis, it can be used as a meditative form to heal that particular chakra and things of that nature. So this again is lining the chakras up with the keynotes. This is why when certain songs are played, they do something to you. When certain person get on the keyboard, it just does something to your soul. You know what I mean? So all of this is lining up with how we need to get back into our music and who we are and begin to pay more attention to notes. We need to take a class. Even producers who are using drum machines need to take a class on theoretical music, because it teaches you how to blend certain sounds to make new sounds, and all depending on what your intent. If you're having a song about love, then you may not need to be using the C note or the D note. You need to be it where the heart chakra is. You need to focus on the F note, you know what I'm saying, blended with other notes, because that's alchemy. Now you're taking sounds and creating new sounds and putting your specific intent in it, and now your songs is off the hook. All right, now live band frequency. If you ever been in a club, you ever heard a record and it's loud? I don't care how loud they turn the record up, it's just a record. And if you ever sat in a club where the band was playing, it's 2 different dynamics. The band's energy alone, even though they might be playing the same record, it's reverberating on a whole different frequency. Sorry. No problem. It's reverberating on a whole different frequency. You know what I'm saying? The live strumming of those of that guitar, and when that drummer is hitting them drums, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I like to go to live bands and see them rock out. You know what I'm saying? Because it does something for me at that particular time. So, you know what I'm saying? I just want to show the live band frequency is much different than an automated frequency. I don't care how loud you turn up the automated frequency. It's just not the same. Now, I think they killed all the instruments out of the classrooms for our children in the cities, the true magicians, because they were beginning to reconnect with that live band frequency. And we just talked about how the music is critical for us. The economy ain't critical for us, the stock market, none of that is critical for us. But my music is very critical. Or we don't know how we're gonna pay the rent, right? Well, let's put these records on, let's jam for a while. Let's take it off, figure it out. Before, when the records is finished, we know what we're gonna do. All right? So they took all that out and introduced the drum machine. Now this was our way, again, the brother talked about how the melanin, they keep trying to crack the code or let's say, hinder the code. And we got the drum machine, and lo and behold, a true producer can emulate sound where it's almost like a live band now. Almost. You see what I'm saying? So they, by them thinking that they were doing something bad by not letting us play the drums, we just created these automated machines, and I can have a 50-band orchestra coming out of this box right here. That's the melanin, again, reprogramming itself. Whatever the conditions are, the melanin in us, the spirit in us, will find a way to get the job done. All right? And I got one of the masters, he called True Master for a reason. He's showing you how he could sit down at this machine and play it, and you would think it was a 50-band orchestra. All right? So we, again, using what's at our disposal and dispense to get the job done. You know what I'm saying? Take chitlins, you know what I'm saying, and pig's feet and all that stuff where the so-called slave masters was taking the good part. I say that like this, there is no good part of the pig, but you know what I'm saying, for himself, and throwing us the slop. And grandma said, okay, all right, let me look at this for a minute. It's slop. You know, okay. But you know what? Let me put some carrots in that. You know what I'm saying? Cook that up with love, because I got to feed the family. You know what I mean? Heal all with chitlins. Because it wasn't the chitlins itself, it was the love that mama put into them chitlins. You know what I'm saying? So that's just crazy, showing you again how that melanin, that spirit within, we're going to be here. We've always been here, we're going to be here. I don't care what they talking about, we're going to be here. I don't know about them, we're going to be here. All right? Now, if you're into cymatics, cymatics is again music. And they do these tests where they put like sand and stuff on a plate, and they play certain harmonic frequencies, and it takes on these geometrical shapes. The same ones you see in the crop circles. That's close, look at that. This one is done with sand or some kind of, you know, essence, and this one is done on the earth. All right, so what it's doing is again showing us how important sound is. So all these crop circles, it's not spookism. It's them using sound weapons, or maybe not them, maybe our ancestors are using or communicating with us through sound that's creating certain form of geometrical forms on the earth. And these are archetypes. If someone from another planet was going to communicate with us, they would not do it in Deutsch or English. That don't even exist. They would use sound, color, and light. And certain images that are in our subconscious mind that are universal. Close encounters of the third kind. Close encounters of the third kind. They came hitting the sound. You see what I'm saying? So they was doing it because if it's universal, let's get out of what we have been taught here or used as language to lock us down from reaching those higher frequencies of sound. You might, with Arabic, get close to it. You know what I'm saying? If done in proper intent and your body is right, because it's so beautiful. No disrespect to the Dutch language, but it's a little, you know, it's a little choppy to me when I hear it. I'm trying to figure out, like, how is not, you know, like, how does that flow? You know what I'm saying? It's more like, it's still water, but it's more like ice water, like, you know what I'm saying, like blocks of water as opposed to flowing water. You know what I mean? So it's water nonetheless. And us being who we are, we can take any language and make it work for us. Let me stay here another few days, and I don't know enough Deutsch to be in the hood. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? So we have a universal, we have the morphic resonance enables everything that we do to be picked up by everybody else. This is how we get down. So I don't worry about any neighborhoods I go to. Once I hook up with the brothers, you know what I'm saying? And they initiate me into their lingo, and then I process it with my magic, and we good to go. We good to go. So here are some more geometrical shapes, again, made by sound in a lab, made by sound on the earth. All right? So, you know, again, ooh, look at that one. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay? So these are the sounds. We create our reality through sound. Right? So we know that hip hop or any music we decide to use, if we're using it with the proper intent and as a collective, we can create anything we want to create. This is why they got the stoppers. Like the movie industry is a stopper. The record industry is a blocker. It keeps us locked into this because they're the ones who take our music and tell you what's going to be heard, or tell the masses what images they're going to see. All right? So do not think that these are blessings. They're blessings if they were in our hands. You see what I'm saying? Television is not necessarily bad. Bill Cosby used television to his advantage. The Cosby Show was real. It raised the vibration and began to show other images of us than hustlers, pimps, and thugs. It may have made the way for Obama to get elected. Who knows? Because he inserted in your subconscious mind a different view of who we are as a people. You see what I'm saying? And when did that air? 84? Yeah. 24 years later, who knows? All right, these are some more. Just want to flash through them real quick. Oh, no, not this one. This is another one. I think I got this one from actually Germany. It's kind of distorted. This one is Saturn's North Pole hexagon.
Wow.
All right? See it popping off of here? North Pole of Saturn.
That's crazy.
Boom. Cymatic symbol. All right? So this is a universal thing for us. It's needed. Just like listening to the words of my voice, you know if I'm hustling you or not. You know a hustler when you hear one. All right? And you know when somebody is bringing it to you on the real. That's what I do. I close my eyes and listen. You know what I'm saying? And feel your energy. Is this a hustle? Is this a gimmick? Oh, no, that's real right there. You know what I'm saying? I can feel that. And this is a book by John Reed called Egyptian Sonics. It was talking about how we was doing that same science in the pyramids. That's maybe how they built the pyramids, using sound. Certain sound frequency to move 3,000-pound rocks. You know what I'm saying? The things, how else are we going to move rocks of that nature? They're using sound. They was in tune, no pun intended, in tune with nature around them and how to manipulate sound to move or travel wherever they wanted to go. So Homeboy's book, Egyptian Sonics, John Reed. So there's nothing new, again, under the sun. I wanted to do...
Suck this one out, just real quick. But just repeat this last thing you said, like the last 3 seconds.
Okay, I just want to talk about this book, Walk on Water. Leonard Howitz. And he has... through his research and other people's research, discovered what we just been talking about, that sound has the ability, everything has a frequency numeric value to it. So they have come up and found what the frequency of love is. And it's the number 528 based on their science. So you know what that tells me? If they found the frequency of love, then that means they also know the frequency of disease, hate, and everything else. Because they only tell you what they want you. Fear. You know what I'm saying? And things that I'm going to read one little piece out of here. And tomorrow, if I have more time, I'll get more in depth with it. But I want to kind of move this along. All right, it says, Mueller, the guy's name, has showed that your body, like all biology, is a mathematically generated piece by piece, or is mathematically generated piece by piece, or fractally. Mathematically, you crystallize or fall apart. As an expert in space-time mathematics and physics, Mueller compared biological elements to cosmic elements, planets, galaxies, and particles in space, comparing double helix to the universe as the double helix or the logarithmic line. he concluded the genetic code itself is a product of the global standing gravitational wave, or the time wave. By the way, waves flow according to certain laws of math. Mueller and colleagues detailed the existence of special nodes which within all physical elements congeal. Special nodes where all human elements congeal, from microscopic bacteria and cell organelle to macrocosmic celestial bodies and galaxies. All matter crystallizes in these special energy zones. He noted that this fractal, i.e. piecemeal, precipitation of matter is mathematically based on repeating sequences of numbers 3, 6, and 9. 3, 6, 9, all right? Which comes up to 18, 1 and 8 is 9 is born, all right? So that's how we give birth. But he's just breaking down the numerical value. This set of numbers is energetically or spiritually special, as you soon will see. The set opens the porthole to the fourth dimension or spiritual domain. Mueller wrote on a creationalistic transition toward physical precipitation from spiritual ether, from the unpacked medium or disorganized or chaotic free energy to the packed cluster medium or physical objects in space and time. Long story short, he's showing that numbers is important, lining us up, you know what I'm saying, on a physical basis. And this is just a demonstration he was using. Okay, and this is the universe on the as a double helix on the logarithmic line. All right?
That's crazy.
All right, so they just showing you how this is all lined up. That's the number, like I said, 528, based on their scientific. Now, see, Grandma know what love is. Grandma always knew this. She may not have knew the technical terms and how to put a numeric value, but Grandma knew you love the family and all will be well. So I give credit to Grandma. You know what I'm saying? They just trying to, you know what I'm saying, bootleg Grandma shit. Check this out. This is the music note in DNA. Look how the music notes line up with your DNA. All right? Just showing and proving you how this is all laid out. They have the technology now to see that there is no difference, so to speak, or see that everything is everything in the universe. Again, that's just them using the 369 number patterns to create and things of that nature. I'll get more into that tomorrow if I have time. I want to show just a few of the ones who have been manipulating music and sound forever. You know what I'm saying? And changing our reality. A lot of us came in on Barry White, came in from an astral plane into a physical existence on Barry. Barry created that vortex to bring mad heads in. I came in on Al. Some people came in on Barry. This is my man Levi Stubbs from the Four Tops. He just recently, made the transition. Mad people came in on him. These are gods. They opening up portholes through their music and their love. You know what I'm saying? So this is very key. Throw in Luther Vandross. I don't have a picture of him, but throw in Luther for you 20 years and younger. Luther. Y'all should be praising, all praises due to Luther. Of course, my man Isaac Hayes. I just recently listened to the soundtrack to Shaft. Recently. You ain't listened to it in a while. It had to be the greatest score I had ever heard, man. It was phenomenal. They was calling him Black Moses at the time. That's right. All right? So the brother was going in with his music. All right? Of course, Godfather of Soul and the father of hip-hop, in essence, because most of those samples, some hip-hop records was James Brown. Most of the beginning ones, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we was using, James Brown. We was sampling, and sampling, again, was one of those ways where I can take the energy or the essence of somebody who may have made the transition and bring them back in a new composition. They can relive through their music. That's why I always tell dudes, whoever you sampling, before you sample that record, learn a little bit about that artist. Find out what he was about, he or she was about. You You know what I'm saying? Because that person may have been about revolution and you turn it into a booty shaking song. So you just, revolutionized the booty shaking era. That's alchemy. Fight the power that be. You see what Public Enemy did with that? Fight the power. They did not change the energy. They heightened the original thought process and the original spirit and took it, you know what I'm saying, and heightened it. So watch your alchemy, producers. Watch your alchemy. All right? Watch what you mixing and blending. Okay, Gerald Levert. You know what I'm saying? He just went out last year. You know what I'm saying? But again, his father's Eddie Levert. So his DNA, you know what I'm saying? He became, again, putting out some fantastic songs about love. A legend. I got to meet him too. He's definitely a legend. I want to talk about this because this is where hip hop is going. This is a voice coder, a vocoder, auto-tune. Everyone's got the robot sound on their throat now.
T-Pain.
Yeah, everybody doing the T-Pain. Now, understanding they're trying to make a universal music. Understand, we in the one world order, the one religion, the music, and they're trying to interface human with machines on a whole nother level. And they're going to use the gods to do it. They're going to use hip hop to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because hip hop has the minds of the youth, and the youth are the ones whose magic can still be tapped into. Because they haven't really conformed to this third dimensional paradigm as much as we have. So when my daughter tells me she saw an entity walk by the room, I don't question that, because when I was 7 years old, I saw entities all the time. My grandmother did that type of magic. She used me for that type of magic. That'll be in my personal book that'll be out next year. And I suppressed a lot of it for years because people thought I was crazy. You know what I'm saying? But children, this is why their cartoons are off the chain. Because they have the ability to process all of that. It's when your brain gets hardwired. Go see the movie The Last Mimsy. And they was talking about these two children came across with some artifacts or something from outer space, and it was rewiring their DNA. But the doctor who came on to explain it to the parents was showing you a human or an adult brain that was hardwired, stuck in its ways, can no longer use its magic, and a child's brain that is still, the wires are still coming in. So that's just how, we go about. So they taking this music and they making it robot music. All right, just like in the movie Transformers, they had a robot who was into hip hop. And we saw, that's just so cool. But understand, they're putting things in our subconscious mind that they want to manifest or that they know is coming. You can do the magic, they can't. But they can use you as the talisman all day long. And they do all day long. All right, so Kanye West's new album is Love Lockdown, and the whole album is robot talk. The entire album from one end to the next is nothing but auto-tune, synthesized. Now, when my man Roger Troutman used to do it back in the day, it was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't, live off it. That was his little thing. But now, and Monkey See, Monkey Do, because, that T-Pain is the one who brought it back out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And look at that top hat, as we talked about yesterday with True Master. Hallowed be thy name, as he was explaining, is the hollow point or the hollow space between your crown chakra and whatever hat or energy you're wearing. Remember, that creates an energy vortex. Look at the fez. It's not snug down on his head, so it's creating a space in between. It's a form of magic. And his album is called 33 Rings, and you see how he's got the two E's reversed, representing what? Maybe 33? 33rd degree Mason? Maybe, who knows? It's 32 rays around him. I counted them. Maybe he's the 33rd ray. See how he got his hands? What's that? What's this? What's that all about? And his name is T-Pain, but if you take the T and put it on the other end, it says paint. Because that's what he's doing. He's painting pictures. Your words can paint pictures. You know what I'm saying? But everything right now is robotic. Everything. With this new generation of so-called artists. Kanye West got a new song. Common got a new song out called Universal Mind Control. That's the name of the song. And in it, Pharrell has got a robot suit on. All right? Go watch the video. He's got a robot suit on, and it's called universal mind control, because remember, music is the only thing that can enter your subconscious mind without your permission. You can't stop it if you wanted to. Put on some James Brown right now. I might be like, oh, fuck, I gotta just let it loose. You have to. You trying to hold out, and then it just hits you. That's how it works in the church too. You don't have to be into the word of God, and then the choir starts singing and the drums start going, and you just, oh man, you start getting it in. And then they come around with the bucket. Y'all let them get that money. Man, listen. That's how that works. That's why every commercial has music in it. You don't want a Big Mac, but you hear them songs. You know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, every time I hear this song, I get hungry. Have it your way. All right, so this is how they do that. Oh, still dealing with the technology. I wanted to show this. I cut this out of the Daily News on Sunday. She lost her eye in an accident, so she wants a webcam eye. This lady here. She wants to record her whole life on a webcam eyeball. Something she could download or something like that. This is where they're going with it. All right? This is where they're going with it. All right? You can read. I got the article. I'm going to pass it around. She lost her eye in an accident.
So she want to make her eye?
A webcam. Yeah. I'm going to pass that around. You know what I'm saying? It's this side. You know, if anybody want to read it.
What's her last name?
Her name is Vinch. Tanya Vinch. All right, Robo Vinch. But remember, listen, they did this in the movie. Listen, this is where they're going. This is where it's going to lead to. You can capture your whole life and sell your life to somebody else.
Truman story.
All right, Truman Story or Total Recall. But like, you know what? I want to be a brain surgeon operating on, do brain surgery. And you pop in the robo eye or something, and you can live that life through that person's vision. So you're not physically there, but you now a brain surgeon. These people are bored, man. These people ain't got nothing else to do. You know what I mean? Okay. All right, we got nothing else to do. So this is where it's going. All right, robo eyes and things of that nature. And soon you're going to be able to sell your life for cash. All right, they putting limbs back together for people. American military research say that they have unlocked the secret to regrowing limbs and recreating organs in humans who have sustained major injuries. Using nanoscaffolding, the researchers have regrown a man's fingertip and internal organs on several test subjects.
Where's Ottawa?
Huh?
Where's that at? Ottawa.
Oh, I don't know where that is. Ottawa. That's Ottawa. That's Ottawa. Yeah. That's Canada. All right. The technology works by placing a very fine apparatus called a scaffold, which is made of polymer fiber hundreds of times finer than a human hair. See, this nanotechnology is bananas because this computer's smaller than a dot. I got 2 minutes? Okay, beautiful. I'm going to stop it there because I still have some stuff to go into. I'll maybe get into it tomorrow with Obama and some other stuff that's going on. All right? So I'm going to take 2 or 3 quick questions until the tape run out, and then we good to go. Question? Anybody? Yes?
As far as music and artists, and you was talking about Al Green and those characters, or not characters, but those individuals. Mm-hmm. What do you think about Tupac?
You got 4 hours? Oh, okay. In a nutshell, what Tupac, I'm going to take it from his DNA. His mom was a Black Panther. His father was a Black Panther. And his DNA, he was going to be a rebel. He was going because remember, listen, J. Edgar Hoover said they was trying to stop the rise of a Black Messiah. And they don't forget anything. So not only did they attack you, they attacked your children. And your children's children. The war never stopped. All right? So his music in itself was, revolutionary when he first came out. Then he went to jail. And then he got up with Suge, and then his music became a little bit more shake your ass, all that old kind of stuff. They had to take him out. He was just 25 years old, 2 and 5 and 7. He was just coming into his godhood and understanding how his voice was affecting many, many people. So, and remember, he was pregnant. His mother was pregnant when she was in jail with him. But right before she gave birth to him, she was released. You see what I'm saying? So that just goes to show you, you know, certain different principles of it. He was, to me, he was just getting ready to come into his own. You know what I'm saying? And he to me, he represented Harriet Tubman for me. The Underground Railroad, he was going into the hoods and all of that, but he was leading people out. You know what I'm saying? So that's a different form of the Underground Railroad, because not only was he thug life, but he also had songs like Dear Mama, Hold Your Head Up. His discography is crazy. You know what I'm saying? In terms of what he was doing. So that's energy. You know what I'm saying? And kill him and you kill a movement. So they don't have to have control over millions no more. They can control one who has control over millions and still have the same effect. So if you all put all your energy into the Messiah and they kill the Messiah, they just killed you. When they killed Tupac, they killed half a nation. When they killed Biggie, they killed the other half of the nation. Hip-hop ain't been the same since. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what nobody say. So in that sense, with that said, this is the Black Dot. These are my chronicles. This is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Peace.